Season 3's winding down, ladies and gents. Hard to believe we're coming to the end of this season. It goes by quick, and we're having a blast doing it. And want to thank everybody for listening. As always, we appreciate you guys and gals tuning in every week, wherever you are and however you may be listening, whether it's on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, wherever. We appreciate you. So, got a special guest in the studio today, and want to welcome our good buddy Tyler Hidy. Tyler, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you guys for having me on.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you coming
What's
on,
up,
man.
big dog?
I know you've been a long time OG listener of the show, and it's cool to have you on. Tyler, I know this is going to be difficult, folks. We've got Tyler, and Kyler, and then there's Dickweed over here.
You can call me T-Skittles, Yum Shizzle.
So just don't call me late for supper. So, Tyler, I know you had some topics you wanted to run through with Tyler. This is going to get super confusing.
Holy shit.
Heidi and Scott, all right? I know you had some shit you wanted to run through, and I'm going to let you take off with it, bro.
Yeah, so I guess I'd like to start with, talking about your experience with the show so far. You've given a lot of feedback for us, and I've actually enjoyed listening, and it's kind of been insightful for me to get some of that feedback. I know I mentioned earlier on, especially season 1 when we got this started, at first I was a little confused. I was like, I'm not entirely sure what people enjoy about listening, but it was awesome that people did, and we kept it going. So you just want to kind of run us through some of what you've experienced with the show a little bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, when anybody I know comes out with something, dude, I'm supporting it. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
First
yeah.
of all. But other than that, man, it's just the love for the music that, I feel like it's slowly dying, or it's slowly taking a way different course than what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm here for it, man. So, I mean, I love listening to you guys sit and just dissect the music. And then, you guys have also turned me on to a lot of bands. And also, you've reinvigorated my fucking love for Creed, man.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's metal as fuck.
I mean, I went back and I listened too, man. I mean, not to just dive right in on Creed,
Yeah.
but
Go for it,
dude,
bro.
Go for it.
I listened to Torn, dude, because you said something about it, and I forgot all about that song, man.
Oh,
I haven't heard that
man.
shit since I was probably 8 years old.
So
I
was
like,
it like listening to it all over again for the first
I
time?
mean, no, because I knew all the words, but
Yeah.
And then I also realized that What If sounds like it's like heavily inspired by the Call of Cthulhu, bro. It's like the
Ooh.
same opening chord. You ever notice that?
I don't know that I did, but I know
I
it
don't
was a
know that.
heavier
Holy
song.
shit, it is.
It's the shit, bro. It's the Call of Cthulhu, but slowed down with less notes.
It is. Woo! Bro.
Mark Tremonti's a dog,
Oh,
man.
He's spewing some shit already,
Oh,
ain't he?
shit.
Woo!
Fucking hell.
Strap in, people.
Now-
I didn't
It's gonna be
realize
good.
that
Good.
shit. I didn't realize that shit when I was 8, rocking out to it in the car with my mom.
What if? What? You gotta do that. You're in the backseat
Yeah.
fucking, yeah. I can't find your like your
The
hair's
seat
blowing
belt
in the
straps are
imaginary
fucking
wind.
coming up
Was there
there.
a sudden breeze that threw your hair
Yeah.
back?
Oh
and-
yeah, man. I felt like it was 1994 all over
Hell
again.
yeah, man. That's
I
fucking
love it.
awesome.
That
So I
is
guess my
awesome.
question for you is, you're a music lover just like we all are. You
Yeah.
play guitar. You grew up
I was
playing
gonna say,
guitar.
and a musician.
Yeah, by all means, a hell of a musician at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What? And I'm not trying to toot our own horn by any means, but what about the show kind of brought you in? Like, were there certain parts that you related to?
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember watching an episode where Kyler got real vulnerable, and I was like, man, I used to live in hell. Like, somebody else understands it. You can always relate to that stuff when you've been some places. But then again, like I said, it was just the love of the music. And then also, I mean, the first few episodes I watched were like later on where there was video and stuff. And then you guys said some shit that made my blood boil. I was like, man, there's shit talking my music. I was like,
I know who it is. It's got to be Sevenfold, too.
Shit, yeah,
It's
man.
gotta be
that's one of them,
Sevenfold.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean,
Can't stand them.
I listened to their new album today, dude, and I was so disappointed. I listened to it all the way through.
You got some
Yeah.
balls, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't skip a couple when there was 1 minute left, but
That's cool though that you had that, and that, I guess that's kind of inadvertently what our goal was, is to be relatable, especially when we talk about how music relates to real life, but also to reinvigorate that love for music that maybe some folks might have lost, and for this to kind of be a home for those conversations. So it's super cool to have somebody come on that kind of, we achieved our goal.
Gets it, yeah.
We achieved our goal with you there, and you're not the only one, but you're here in our backyard. You're close, so we get to have you on and have you tell us that. So, Tyler, I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. I had a thought for a moment.
You're like
I
a fart
lost
in a
it.
whirlwind, my friend.
Yeah, but okay, there it is. So
Found it.
I'm back.
So I think you and I were talking on Messenger the one day, and it was kind of in discussion on bringing you on and discussing a little bit of hot takes, and you had mentioned how it's like we can get in these hot takes and kind of get going at each other, but it's all in good fun, and it's no one's getting offended or anything like that. And I love that you had mentioned that, because our goal isn't to offend anyone, but the things that we're talking about are very, very subjective. So it really depends on the person and their own opinion. And, we're all just kind of spouting off our opinions for the most part. And I think it's, one of the things that really interested me in having you on is how you really enjoy those hot takes, and you actually have some differing opinions on some of those. And little sneak peek and to what we're going to talk about later in the episode, we're going to be diving into some hot takes heavy. I know you got quite a few that you shared with me that I'm really excited to see some faces get red and some shit get thrown around.
Yeah, but I'm guessing he's talking about the two of us.
Oh, I don't know. I got a little.
I have some open ears when it comes to stuff, so I don't know that you'll be able to piss me off. I might disagree, but maybe not piss me off.
I think you bring up a good point of it's fun to have those debates where we don't get offended at each other, get pissed at each other. I had somebody message me and say, "Man, you guys sound like you got heated there for a minute, and then it was done. Like you were done, you were on to the next thing." And I'm like, yeah, that's what our everyday group chat's about.
I was going to say, this is what we do every single day.
We do this every day.
We're just passionate about our music, and I think when we love something so much, we just want everybody else to fucking love it.
It's
How do you not see this?
It's like,
you know what I mean?
It's a natural feeling, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, it relates to me. I think of reaction videos, and sometimes I'll scroll through YouTube, and I want to watch reaction videos to bands that dropped a new song that I like, and I think it's because I want that person to feel the exact same way I did when I heard that song, and I think that's why these reaction channels blow up. So,
and I think the main reason why we're able to have those kind of heated discussions without going after each other's throats in literal terms is we're attacking the opinion, not the person.
Correct.
Yeah.
Too many people, and trust me,
here we go. It's going
go ahead. Let's go deep.
This conversation could go way down a rabbit hole.
I'm not trying to take us down a rabbit hole, but Tyler, I talked to you before the show about the TikTok thing. That is the most toxic social media out there.
Yep.
Because if you have a different opinion, I posted a video today that, like I said, it's only a couple hours old and it's over 100,000 views, or right at 100,000, whatever. But the comment section, it was a music ranking thing. The comment section, if you disagree with somebody, they attack you personally.
Wow. What's if you disagree with the majority? Everybody's afraid to have their own opinion about stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The one that I got attacked the most on was I picked Slipknot over Lamb of God. And people went bonkers over it. And I'm like, God forbid my personal opinion is different than yours. On the most subjective, I feel like music is quite possibly the most subjective thing in the world. It's art. Art in general.
It absolutely is. And Tim Henson said it best. He said, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not subjectively good.
Yeah.
He was talking about that when he wrote a song based on a Taylor Swift song that he hated.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But no, when we're on this show, we're in our group chat, we're just sitting here in the studio picking a guitar, listening to music, whatever, and we're having a debate. It's all friendly. I might not agree with something that one of these guys says, but that doesn't mean I'm going to attack them personally for it. You know what I mean? And vice versa. I'll attack the opinion, be like, that's fucking stupid. Yeah. But you're not stupid. It's just a stupid opinion. But it is what it is. So, but no, super cool to have you come on, and I'm looking
Super
forward
cool to be here, man.
Dude, I appreciate that. That's fucking
Love
awesome.
it.
You got a shirt and everything, man. You out there repping.
Yeah, I didn't wear it, but I am gonna wear it
Oh,
louder than
sorry.
life.
Yeah.
So.
We're supposed
Hell
to be.
yeah.
I was going to say, shout out to everybody that's been sending us pictures of you wearing your Screaming Idiot Show shirts. By the time this comes out, they'll have been worn at several festivals, different concerts. So spreading the word and getting more people involved. So go ahead, Tyler.
So
I keep bringing us off track. My bad.
one thing, no, it's fine. One
fine.
thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that we've kind of had conversations around, you see somebody out and about with a band shirt of a band that you really like, and it's like we're automatically friends
You
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? The way I met Tyler here was kind of something I'm not really going to get into on the show. It was an interesting. All right, look. So I'm 16. I do what I have to do for the cause, and part of that was I had to go pick up this dude I had never met, had no idea who he was. Ended up being this cat right here, and he gets in the car and he's listening to the music I have playing. And Mitch was actually with us. He was on the show a couple episodes ago.
Old Fear Dog.
Oh, Fear Dog.
Good old
And
Fear Dog.
just based off of the music I was listening to, you and I just kind of hit it off.
Yeah. And I had actually seen you guys play too at the Roller Haven, and just didn't even know you guys yet.
Right.
Because I remember being very little, and it was at like a all nights. How old were you? Because we're around the same age.
Yeah, we're about the same age. I was probably 15 at the time.
Yeah, bro. So I might have been 14. And
Okay.
just chilling at the rink, dude. And I remember seeing Sean, this older dude, playing music, and I was like, bro, that guy's a fucking rock star.
Hell yeah.
Sean has that like rock star feel.
Bro, he
to
had a
him,
neck
man.
tattoo back then.
Yes, bro.
He has the rock
He's
star
got
feel.
the nautical star tattooed
He's got
on
the
his
star
neck.
on his neck. He shows up fucking late.
Yep.
Doesn't say a word. He plugs his shit in.
And
He
he
rips
just
out,
goes.
and then he unplugs and goes to fuck home.
Yep.
He's a fucking rock star, bro.
Yeah. He's an interesting cat too, for sure, man.
I'm sure you listened to the episode where we had him on the show, and man, that was a cool ass experience to have somebody like Sean on and kind of talk about that experience of being the quote unquote rock star and all that, and putting 4 different people together.
It's just
and
so
trying to make
funny.
a good piece of music.
It's so funny with Sean just because like he doesn't want anything to do with that, of course, that lifestyle, but like that's not the persona like he tries to put out, but it just feels like
not
that's
in
what
the.
Sean
That's
is.
why he is a
Yeah.
fucking rock star.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just what he is.
He's a presence.
Yes, he
know
is,
what I
man.
mean? So-
He's a. This is this might sound kind of sus, but he's a calming presence. Like he's just such a level-headed dude.
Yep.
So easy to talk to and be around. Because I feel like me, man, I probably turned some people off to talking to me because I probably seem like I'm a little high-strung. I'm really not. But Sean is just like
Yeah,
so
he's
level-headed
like
and
this
down to
dude's
earth.
super cool, and I'm hiding behind him if there's a terrorist.
Yeah.
Yes. Sean will walk through some motherfuckers.
It's he's that scrawny dude that can fight.
I'm telling you, hey, them skinny dudes can fucking fight, bro.
So I'm kind of curious, what was your take on that performance at the skating rink? Because
Dude,
we've talked
I
about it a couple
Oh,
times on the
Jesus.
show. Us in the band, we didn't love it.
I don't remember it that much. I just remember it being very loud. Like face crushing loud.
Face crushing. That's
metal as
going on a
fuck.
shirt. That's
metal
going on a
as fuck.
shirt.
Have
crushing
you
loud.
have you been to any other of our shows since then?
I haven't,
remember.
dude, but to be fair, the time where you guys have been doing a lot of that, I was probably in a really fucked up place in my life and not doing much of anything.
That's fair.
But yeah, I would love to come see you guys live soon.
Hey, we got
One's around the corner.
we got 2 shows coming up. One later in July, and then we have Barnyard here in town that's coming up, and that's typically a pretty damn good show.
Yeah.
But
you guys are
Talking
like
anywhere
veterans
from
there
5
at
to
this point,
800
aren't you?
people.
yeah, this will be our 4th year, 3rd year.
Third? I
Like
thought?
you guys are on
I
the bill
don't
by
know.
It
default
will
if you want to be
be-
there, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Part of that's just because we're from Fayette County, and they try to keep it pretty local.
Right.
But
Well, you guys kick ass too. I mean,
Thank you.
I listened to
Appreciate it.
the whole album and shit when that dropped too. Like, I mean,
Fuck yeah.
I support people, dude. Like,
What's your favorite
Clearly,
song?
you're here, man.
I really liked Say, and I even told Preston, I was like, dude, your guitar tone sounds epic on that fucking song. And then
good.
my other favorite thing about the song is the scream in the chorus where he says, "I'm worth everything." Whoever screams that is a gnarly motherfucker.
That's me.
Bro. Yeah, that's.
I appreciate that. I don't normally get complimented.
I mean, who would notice that though if they listen to that song?
I feel bad we didn't send him the clip of the new thing we recorded.
I was gonna say you should
which
hear
is
the
an
new
old song,
new
but-
shit of him screaming.
Yep.
I think I remember telling you that the album reminded me of like some good classic Chevelle.
Makes
I
sense.
think you did say that.
Makes sense.
I haven't
love
listened to
that.
it like since it came out, but
I got a buddy of mine that constantly tells me if he hears our stuff or it pops back up again, he swears up and down, and I hear this from several people, that it's a heavier Incubus.
yeah, it's Sean's voice, man. He's just
Yeah.
got that voice of them guys.
Yeah.
It's great.
Sean did come into the band room Friday when him and Scotty practiced, and first thing he said to me was, you know him, he just walks in and he's like straight to it, and he's like, I want to cover Incubus. And I was
Beautiful.
like,
I love you.
so then we just started diving into different songs, and there's like two I think we haven't narrowed down to. I'm not telling anybody what they are.
Oh, I need to know.
I'll tell you later.
This
Like,
dude's a guitar.
I need to know.
well, I don't
I'll
want to
probably play
I don't
the
want to
fucking
confuse
bass
you.
because I love their bass so much on their song.
But yeah, I guess to the original point, you know, you and I kind of came together through music, and you know, we haven't hung out a ton, but we've definitely been friends for a long time. Ever since that night I picked you up, and we
Yeah,
just
and
started,
I mean, even though we were distant, like we lived two different lives. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you kind of lived the straight and narrow, and I lived like the savage. But it was always there. Like, you know, I think one of the times I hit you up that we actually hung out, it was like to trade an amp for a guitar. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's music oriented that kept that.
Yeah.
right.
To where I, eventually have this.
You did have
connection
that
in my-
Randall amp that I wanted.
Yeah.
Do you still have that?
No, dude. It's been
He's a
gone for
wheeler and
years.
dealer.
Yeah, me too.
He's a wheeler and dealer.
Oh
man.
yeah.
He's constantly trading and selling.
Anyway, see, I think, you know, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because it really goes into why we do this podcast. We talk about like the metal brotherhood and people coming together through music, and I think it's really cool to see where we had started, and you know, now you've been listening to the show, really connecting with that. Now you're here, man.
You get your
Fuck
own
yeah.
episode now.
You get your
Jeez.
own
Yeah.
episode.
Well, and that's why I'm so excited to hear. And maybe we're not delving into this just yet, but if you've noticed with other guests that we've had on, we really want to delve into like your own musical journey. Like, when was there a time and day that something got you into it, and then something got you wanting to play music? Like, walk us through and long version. Well, that's what we're here for.
Okay.
Oh, we got all the time in the world, bro.
Is it time for the musical journey?
Let's go ahead, man.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I mean, I want to start this off by saying that I love all types of music equally, and that's because of my dad. I mean, when we were driving around in his
Same.
when we were riding
All
around
three
in his
of
old
us.
Ford
Yep.
Ranger going fishing, dude, like it would go from Metallica to George Jones to Tupac. You know what I mean?
Dude,
so,
same.
I mean,
Exactly.
so,
Literally
yeah, I
same.
mean, my musical influence is everywhere from Pantera to Garth Brooks to
Yep.
Same.
I mean,
It's
Travis
me especially,
Tritt, I
man.
love
You're wearing a
him, man.
Megadeth shirt.
yeah,
You're wearing a fucking badass
yeah,
Megadeth
yeah. We
shirt,
can get
though.
into Megadeth all
Oh,
day,
we can,
man.
dude, I can talk
love
Megadeth all day.
But I mean, my dad always kind of doodled on the guitar, but he never really like achieved anything. And
Same with
I mean,
my dad.
I live like he just did it kind of like as a hobby. Me, I was like, man. But I think what probably really did it for me, where it was like, yeah, guitar players are fucking dope, and that's what I want to be as a fucking dope guitar player, is probably sitting up in 5th grade watching MTV and watching Backcountry and Beast and the Harlot, because that Beast and the Harlot solo, the first time I ever heard that, I was like, that's the greatest thing I've
That's
ever
a
heard.
face
That's the
melter,
greatest
bro.
thing that's ever
Yep.
been done on the instrument.
Yep.
It's a
Like,
face melter.
It was just something that I wasn't.
And were you playing guitar at that time? Or you
Yeah,
were just-
yeah, I
okay.
could play like Fade to Black intros and stuff. I started when I was probably like 10, and it didn't pique
Damn,
my.
you
It
started a
didn't,
little before we did.
Yeah.
but it didn't pique my interest really. So I probably put it down for the next 3 or 4 years,
Sure,
and
yeah,
I didn't
okay.
really pick it up and take it serious until I was probably 14 or 15.
Same. I was
Yeah.
about
My
then
dad
when I
gave
started
me a
taking it serious.
Kramer and a Line 6 Spider 3,
Fucking
Yeah.
And
Kramer,
this, and
let's go.
so then what do? You go start a garage band with your buddies.
Yes.
Covering Metallica and
That's
shit
a
like that.
natural progression.
And
That's literally what you do.
It's just ever since then, dude. I never stopped buying guitars.
You sound like all of us, man.
I never was able to play Beast in the Harlot like I originally planned, but
That's some shit, man.
I don't know very many people that can cover
I have a
some
lot of fun
Sinister Gate
trying.
stuff perfectly. We hate on Avenged Sevenfold a lot on here, but I've said on the show that Sinister Gates is a virtuoso. I mean, he, in my opinion, carries the band, and that dude is
yeah,
a monster. On
but
guitar.
also it's like M Shadows is shitty and to a degree.
Nowadays,
I mean, you have to credit what they've done since.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm the type of person where I'm a musician, so I can almost drown out the vocals if the soundtrack is perfect.
Yep.
And dude, they have like.
Yep.
I mean, the whole City of Evil album is like one perfect fucking soundtrack, dude. It's like.
The City of Evil, is that with Afterlife?
No, that's
not-
self-titled.
Okay. That's self-titled.
self-titled.
Okay.
They have Beast in the Harlot and Backcountry.
Backcountry.
Seize the Day. That's the ones everybody knows.
Okay.
But you got to listen to.
was Unholy Confessions on that?
No, that was on. I believe the record's Unholy Confessions.
Is it Unholy
Or
Confessions?
no, it's Wake
Dude, I got my phone.
Waking the Fallen.
My dumb ass could look it up.
Waking the Fallen. That's what
Now,
it's called.
like Unholy Confessions and shit like that, when they were straight up metalcore,
yeah.
like, I was into
But it's
it
like they
then.
really perfected it
Almost easy.
into a neoclassical thing, dude, which
Yeah.
I'm a huge sucker for.
Yeah.
I feel like Sinister gets a lot of influence from Yngwie Malmsteen.
I feel like he gets a lot of influence from Dimebag.
Think so?
Oh yeah, the dive bombs, man. They even cover
Yeah.
Walk.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
true.
and
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
he,
true.
He rips it just like Dimebag,
Yep.
dude. Like I'm a huge Dimebag fan, so I can hear the Dimebag influence in his play.
Waking the Fallen, yes.
Yeah.
Unholy Confessions.
But I mean, City of Evil, dude. You got to listen. You got to dig more in. Like MIA.
Dude, that came out in the golden year of metalcore
Yeah.
too, 2005.
MIA
That was like the best year
is
for
still to
metalcore.
date probably the sickest solo I've ever heard in my life. Next to like,
Ooh, there was some good ones on
yeah, I mean, I don't know
Sidewinder.
how we're supposed to transition topics.
No. You're
I got ADHD, bro.
This
I
is a
could-
free for all,
This
bro.
whole show
No,
is
you're
one
good,
big
man.
ADHD trip. Like we're an
Yeah.
Adderall pill, bro.
Yeah,
Like that's
we are.
that's what we are.
I
on
got
here.
ADHD. I could just sit
So,
and talk about random shit.
Same here.
5th grade, you said you was up late and heard those songs. That's what made you decide.
Well,
that's
and
what
watching
you
the
wanted to
videos,
do.
I was watching Sinister Gates, all gothic, like wearing badass clothes, badass guitar,
Right.
watching him shred in a field full of bats, driving in a convertible. I'm like, dude, I want to be that.
Yep.
So I mean,
what I wanna do.
what I'm trying to get off that is it was the visual as much as the music.
Okay.
Sure.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
Okay. So from there, you know, what got you started on guitar? What kind of stuff were you playing?
Ooh.
Well,
I mean, I was kind of like a acoustic kid at first. I had a Harmony acoustic from Walmart, and I probably learned how to play every single song that I ever listened to in chords on that thing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, man. I just kept listening to Sinister Gates, and then I got into Bullet for My Valentine and stuff, and I was like, yeah, dude, I gotta, Dad, you gotta
this
let me
is
get
it.
that Kramer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you
man.
never play it. Let me get it. And then it just sat in my room forever, and I would play it, and then eventually he was like, son, you can have it.
Yeah.
And that's when I started taking it to my, because he would never let me take it like out to the garage and stuff. But
Oh, man.
Kramer. That's fucking awesome.
oh yeah, I still got it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I still have my first guitar too. So,
I do not.
no, you don't. Yours was an SG.
No, that wasn't my first. I had one
It
of
wasn't?
them fucking power pack with Fender amp and little Squire
Yeah.
something of that.
I
sort.
just remember the SG.
Yep.
But I think it's kind of retro that MTV was what I mean. Like for our generation,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
kind of retro because that got a lot of people in the '80s into wanting to play music and whatnot. And we forget how big it was in the late '90s and early 2000s. It was still huge.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid.
VH1,
I was
I mean, there
constantly on
VH1.
VH1 and yeah.
MTV,
And then they had
what
that
was
channel
Headbangers
Fuse.
Ball.
They had that channel.
What was
Fuse.
Headbangers
Headbangers
Ball.
Ball, yeah.
Headbangers Ball has been around since, man, it might have been around since the 70s. But it was huge for like hair metal and shit.
Yeah.
But the one that I watched, you guys might not remember, but there was a show called That Metal Show. Does anybody
Yep.
remember that?
Yep.
Eddie Trunk, and
Eddie Trunk, yep.
they always had Jim Florentine was
So,
another host.
We actually played a show for Eddie Trunk.
Okay.
and it was a horrible experience.
Oh shit!
Oh, why is that?
So it was probably the last show we played with that David Kevorkian guy that we've talked about on the show a little bit. Eddie Trunk was coming through. I really don't. I still to this day don't understand the premise of it. It was basically him going on tour to talk about music, and he was having bands come and like play a few bands come play a set, and then he was there to just kind of talk.
Well, he hosts. He's a radio show host.
Yeah, I know what he does, but like, we end up playing at the venue in Mason, and because we didn't really push the show and we didn't really get any tickets sold, we had to play first, and we go up on stage, and their sound guy wasn't there, and like. They had all this nice-ass JBL speaker, PA system set up. Would have sounded amazing. But the guy that was running the sound didn't know what he was doing. He basically had watched the sound guy do a few things and was like, well, I'm the best we got right now. And so it takes, we only had 25 minutes. We get set up, we start doing the sound check, and by the time we started playing, we had 15 minutes to play.
Shit.
And we get to play, I shit you not, three songs, because even in between, the first two songs, he was having to fuck with shit. And once we finished up, we just packed our shit and left.
Yeah.
So I still to this day don't understand the whole thing Eddie Trunk was doing, but yeah, that's our Eddie Trunk story.
But anyways, there was and I don't remember if it was on VH1 or if it was on MTV, but there was a lineup of shows that I watched religiously as a kid, and it was That Metal Show followed by, and it wasn't Headbangers Ball, but there was another show that was basically just metal music videos is all it was. I mean, it would be anything from like fucking Accept to Diamond Head to Armored Saint, all the way up to Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day, and all these different. Yep. I say metal, but metal rock, all this shit. Yep. And it was just all these music videos. Avenged Sevenfold shit was on there, and I would watch that. That Metal Show was a half an hour, and then there was an hour of metal and rock music videos. And man, when I was a kid, dude, I would go down in the basement, turn my TV on, and I would just sit there for an hour and a half and watch that shit. Like being 8, 9, 10 years old. I was obsessed with that shit, and it got me into that shit. Actually started to get me into some heavier music, because there was stuff like Avenged Sevenfold on there. There was shit. There was even some older
I remember seeing
shit on there.
Mudvayne music videos,
Slipknot music videos.
Yeah, Slipknot was a big one that was because I'm talking like early in the morning before school. I would get up early just to watch the music videos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's all on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything's on YouTube. Does anybody even watch MTV anymore? It's all like Teen Mom and shit.
It's a thing, is it?
Well, it's not music television anymore, and if it is, it's all hip hop.
Yeah, I don't even know that many people with cable, to be honest.
Right.
Or satellite or whatever.
Yeah, I don't have cable. I stream.
Exactly.
I do think the topic is kind of interesting. We've touched on it a little bit on the show before, just kind of the progression of how we consumed music. And
has our generation changed more than any?
Yes.
I think so.
Because, Tyler's sitting here talking about he started listening to this kind of music, watching fucking MTV videos, and now we have, you're doing the YouTube Premium thing, we do Apple Music, all that kind of shit, and it's like the progression and that step by step, like what was popular, what was, hot at the time when we were kids, it changed almost yearly. Until the last few years, it's stayed pretty steady with the different streaming, Spotify and Apple.
We went from CDs to LimeWire
to MP3 players,
to the MP3 players, to the iPods, then to
smartphones.
I remember having an Android phone where there were music apps that you would download your songs through
off the computer.
Yeah, it was.
What about MySpace?
I remember putting music.
Yeah, I mean, I
on
remember
there,
putting
but I don't
music
remember
on
discovering
MySpace, but
it.
So
like
there
it wasn't
was,
discovering. You weren't listening to your music.
No. There was a website where it allowed you, because MySpace originally let you have like 1 or 2 songs or something like that on your profile.
Yeah.
I thought it was just
Yep.
one.
But there was this third-party website where you can create up to 100-song playlist.
Yeah, dude, I did that for
Oh,
sure.
And you could
okay.
then plug that into your MySpace.
don't
I
remember
did that shit, dude. I had all kinds
He's
of
adding
stuff
all
on
these
there.
songs. I'm gonna have the baddest
Bro,
motherfucking profile ever.
I remember my MySpace page, bro. I remember the first time my mom found my MySpace page, and it's fucking devil horns and pentagrams and all this like fucking black metal, fucking dude. I was into like Cradle of Filth and shit back then, and like it was like my mom's like, oh my god, oh he's it. I'm like, Mom, I want to get my ears pierced. Like
The Colts got him.
yeah, it was funny, but you know,
Mom, go make me a sandwich.
we go from our generation has gone from CDs, and I remember getting a portable CD player. That was cool as fuck. But you know, CDs to now instant access on your phone that you carry in your pocket every day in multiple different formats, whether it's YouTube or a different streaming platform like Apple Music or Spotify. So the vast change, you know, if you know, in 2005, if you wanted new music, you had to go to FYE and get a new CD.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And now you're like, oh, that's fucking cool. Downloaded, sweet, added
Dude, I
to my
used to do the
library.
dishes for my mom for money to go to Wilmington's in Wilmington because we lived in Sabina, which was close to Wilmington. And yeah, man, I would go there and buy the M&Ms, like. Yeah, all of his, because they sold uncensored albums.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, man, I got to do all my chores and go get these CDs.
And now you got all these people that are like, I only listen to vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
Yeah,
That's a
it's
thing, man.
absolute.
Oh,
what do
man,
they
it's
call
huge.
themselves? There's a
Audiophiles.
audiophiles.
I mean,
that's
one
it.
thing that is
Not all audiophiles listen to vinyl.
one thing that is a
strictly,
fact is
but-
audio quality has went way downhill because it's so compressed to be in an MP3. Like, there's no
Yeah.
clear sound like a vinyl
Yeah.
or a CD. I think CD is the best. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, get in your
You
truck.
know how long it's
or
been
your
since I've
car-
listened to a CD.
Yeah, get in your truck or your car and listen to something on YouTube, and then put the CD in. And
Okay.
it's clear, very clear difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's way louder, sounds way more produced. It's
There's
amazing.
this big push for lossless audio nowadays on these streaming sites, and I still don't think it's quite like listening to a CD.
So all Apple Music, I think, has to be lossless to qualify to be on Apple Music.
I'll admit I don't fully know the parameters of that,
Your guys' music on Apple Music is lossless.
but
I have
here's
no idea.
You don't need to know.
so
you're
you
just a
have
guitarist.
you have an MP3, which is a highly compressed file, and what they do is essentially jettison like most of the frequencies
These
that the
big
human
fucking words.
What
ear
is
can't
that?
even. They get rid of all like a lot of the frequencies that the human ear doesn't even really hear anyway, and then further compress it from there. So when you listen to an MP3 versus a WAV file, the WAV file in digital audio is like the purest form of it you can get. But that's a huge file compared to an MP3. So doing streaming sites and stuff like that would be really, really difficult if it were all WAV files. That's where like the MP3 kind of made a lot of this shit possible. But that's the thing. I don't know if the lossless is still, you know, the MP3s or if they're expecting it to be WAV files. I cannot imagine they're WAV files, but it might just be a certain level of MP3 because you can compress it to different levels with MP3.
It does help to a lot of bands getting known though too, because I know you two know like 100,000 fucking bands. You guys sit and name them, and I'm like, who are they even talking about? But I mean, do you think
I just forget all their names.
We
We
dabble.
do dabble a lot.
But I mean, do you think you'd know that many bands if you had to go buy CDs?
No, fuck
no.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
So, I
what we
mean,
had had
not
that
at all.
conversation recently. You had
And
asked a
there's
question about a band that would have like a Metallica like
Longevity.
and we said
You
no,
remember
just
that
because
conversation, Tyler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no way, because dude, we listened to 15 different bands in a day.
At least
When I was 15, I was listening to 4 artists a day, maybe.
Yep.
4 artists, maybe 10 a week.
Yeah.
You know, and it all comes down to accessibility. And I've said it on the show before. There are 10 times more bands today than there were 30 years ago.
Do you really think
because
that, though?
It's so much easier to put music out.
Yeah, but do you think there's really more bands, or do you think back then there was still the same amount of bands, they just weren't heard of? Because
I would say
that's
probably when somebody comes out in a town, you know what I mean? The only people buying their shit is people in their town.
Yeah. That's more like it. Because in 1984, it was not nearly as easy to record, mix, and distribute music.
Yeah, but if you go back and talk to someone like my grandpa, I swear to God, he can name 100 different bands from the 70s.
Really?
He's like, oh, they had that one record with that one song on it. Like,
So a lot of that
people I've never even heard of.
Right. See, a lot of that back then, 70s and 80s, particularly the 70s, there was a ton of different labels, and each label is signing, 10, 15 fucking artists a year, hoping that one of them gets some kind of success. So there was a lot of records put out from a lot of bands, but nowadays it's literally any Tom, Dick, or Harry that's got a fucking laptop. Mitch and I were discussing how easy it was for him to get started producing his own music with a microphone with a USB plug and a cheap audio
interface.
DAW, sorry. Digital audio workstation and shit.
DAW.
So like it was even 15 years ago, it was super easy to kind of get into it and start recording shit. And then once these things like CD Baby and whatnot come out, anybody can get their shit on Spotify and Apple Music. So I would say there's probably the same amount of bands now as there ever have been. The difference is the accessibility and the fact that anyone can put their shit out for the entire world to see, whereas back then there were still the gatekeepers of the labels and whatnot.
But the problem with that is, have you ever heard the saying less is more? Now that every single fucking person on the earth that plays the instrument has exposure, the standard of creating music is so
much higher.
It's
that's why we've been burnt out lately, dude.
I mean, dude, it's ridiculous. Like, and I mean, I don't want to dive into this too much until it comes to hot take time. But like, I mean, when you've got bands out there like Periphery, bro, like, how the fuck do you compete with that if people are listening to that? You know what I mean?
You have to be a musical mastermind.
The talent level musically today, and God, although any old guys listen, be like, "Oh, motherfucker, I don't know nothing about music." The talent level of so many musicians today is just fucking bonkers. You bring in Periphery, dude. I do not like Periphery.
Again, though, it was probably like that before. The exposure just wasn't there.
Maybe.
I mean, do you think when Metallica became the biggest thing in the world, Kirk Hammett was the best guitar player in the world?
No.
Fuck no.
He's never been the best guitar player in the world
in a
day in his life.
The exposure just wasn't there for the people that were that bad.
Do I think that there's been a time where James Hetfield's been the best rhythm guitar player on the planet?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Just the shit he came up with at the time, man.
The talent level in music today, you bring up Periphery. We've talked about it ad nauseum on this show. I fucking can't stand Periphery, but their talent, don't like them.
Oh, man.
He can't get into the off-time.
The off-time shit, I hate it. But anyways, their talent is mind-boggling.
Yeah, dude, and that we'll just go ahead and get that one out.
Go ahead.
So the Periphery thing, dude, I thought all of you guys really liked him, first of all. But
I think it's just, Tyler, do you like him?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, it's really
so my thing.
You were on a kick there for a while.
My thing with Periphery is, dude, I messaged Preston this morning and I said, give me your 2 best albums by them, in your opinion, because I know you listen to them all the time.
Hail Stan is the one that I do like.
Yeah, I listen to them, and I mean, the thing about them is you never know what you're going to get track to track if you don't know. I mean, it might be techno, then it might be metalcore.
That's why.
And then they have some shit that sounds like pop punk in ways, and I'm like, okay, but my thing with them is, dude, you know how like AI can create a song that's Drake and Kendrick Lamar? It's like AI make a metal song that's hardcore and math rock, and then it puts out Periphery.
Yeah,
it's like there's no like human structure to it. It's like,
dude, it's
like if AI made it. It's like, okay, blast mixed with random dive bomb. Okay, random little weird slide thing.
But then like if you truly delve into their stuff, and maybe we don't need to get on a Periphery tangent just yet,
Yeah.
But if you truly delve into their stuff and you give it real time, like, you figure out what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
you'll hear shit at the beginning of a song, and it'll go away way quicker than you think it should. And then with the last 30 seconds of the song, it's back, but in a different way. And it takes you on the 7th listen to realize it, and it's like, holy shit, now I understand. Like, and it took me a full year to truly get into Periphery.
Periphery's that one band that I'm like, I cannot stand listening to them, but god damn it, are they
Dude,
good.
that's exactly how I felt.
they're so fucking
I don't
good.
think they're human, bro. I think they're AI.
They're nuts, man.
what did I'll never forget what Ryan Tarbutton said about them on season 1. They're the nerdiest dick stroking. I don't know where the clit is.
That's
no, he
Polyphia.
said both of them.
No, he was talking about Polyphia.
He was, but he referred to both of them. He said they're the most dick stroking, nerdy. I don't know where the fucking clit is.
Yeah.
Like you said, math rock or math core. Yeah, swan core. It's
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, I don't really consider Polyphia math rock. I consider them more like jazz hip hop fusion.
Yep.
If I had
Yeah.
to,
Yep.
dude.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
Here we go, subgenres.
You can't really talk about like
if you play a guitar without a headstock, I don't want to listen to you.
yeah.
Oh, you don't like Plenty then?
No, I don't like that.
Oh, I love
I mean, there probably
Plenty.
won't be any other bands that have the longevity of Metallica, but I mean, as far as like
talent?
guitarists that
Talent,
have longevity, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah.
the names you hear, people have never heard their music and they have a poster of them in their smoke room or whatever.
Yeah, Eddie Van
I
Halen,
think that
yeah.
I think that will be Tim Henson. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that's
fair.
I don't think he'll
It's
ever
valid.
die. I think he reinvented the sport. It's-
Yep.
That's valid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
Because what he's doing is just so off the wall. Different.
I would also say Misha.
Yeah, but
I mean,
he
Misha,
never
you know.
fails to fucking blow my mind every time.
Probably
Oh,
because
I know.
Misha, and
Yeah.
I would say Misha because Misha, the gearhead in Misha,
Yep.
you know what he's doing from an equipment standpoint. Especially me because I'm a Jackson lover. The signature models and shit like that, and the signature pickups. So the longevity from that standpoint is, and again, I'm Misha Periphery, not Polyphia, but it is incredible to see what some of these guys have accomplished from an equipment standpoint. Of hey, you want to sound like us? Here you go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Spend $10,000 on this guitar, and
Yeah.
$500 on these pickups, and so. But no, it's Periphery is that band that I'm like, yeah, I can't listen to them, but motherfucker, do I appreciate the shit out of them for their talent.
Well,
It's-
and what's cool to me, what I've noticed, because I'm such a YouTube nerd, I mean, I watch
You're
probably.
the one that ought to have YouTube Premium.
Yeah, but I deal with the ads. I'll click that skip ad button real fast. I probably watch 5 YouTube videos a day, roughly.
I do, but I watch Bob Ross.
And a lot of their stuff I'll binge, but like they have turned people into gearheads.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have absolutely, because of Misha and his style, and Mark and Jake,
They've
and
turned-
Nolly,
they've
and Nolly as
turned
well.
Nolly,
Like,
yeah.
By the way, highest signature release ever on that nylon string guitar.
no way,
Yeah, highest signature release
price
ever.
on it.
crazy.
Yeah.
What's the price on it?
It's only like $700.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, they turned me into a gearhead. Like once I got into, I don't know, I guess more metalcore stuff. And got back into guitar playing because there was a short time that I kind of fell off of guitar playing. It kind of reinvigorated me, and I became a gearhead. And then once I joined the band, then I really became a gearhead. And like I'm forever thankful because now not that I know so much, but I feel like I do.
Mm-hmm.
You helped me a lot with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
run pedals?
I did
Not
until
anymore.
recently. I tried to make it easier, and I got a Line 6 HX effects
Okay.
to where I can program it all and not have to fucking tap dance as much.
Yeah. I feel it. Do you run pedals?
No.
Interesting.
No,
I like pedals.
Me too.
I'm a small time guy, man. I play on a little shitty. I got an expensive ass guitar and a really cheap amp.
Oh yeah.
So I just bought a new X Series Jackson
Yeah.
from Sweetwater.
You do like him Jacksons.
My dream guitar.
Who got you to the Jacksons? Was it
He's
Megadeth?
always
I've always been
in-
a Jackson guy.
Megadeth. Or,
I had a Randy
Bullet?
Rhodes. Oh, all of those bands in the 80s. They all
Bullet,
played Jackson.
probably.
Bullet.
Oh, yeah.
Bullet was the one that
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
They
that's
all
what I
played
kinda
Randy
thought.
Rhodes. Well, not all. I actually I don't think Padge played Jacksons for long before he switched to LTD because he got a signature really quick. But Matt from Bullet played Jacksons forever. And
These.
Huh? Yeah,
These.
yeah. Well, Randy Rhoads specifically, and I found one at a pawn shop one time, and they didn't know what they had. It's $150, spotless, and that was a fucking $700 guitar. I'm like, oh yeah, it's not bad. And I played it off like, oh, these motherfuckers have no clue what this is. I paid $150 for it, and I loved it. Other than it's a V, and you can only play it standing up comfortably.
Well, they might have known what they had, but they probably only paid $50 for
Probably,
it.
but
That's a tough sell in Fayette County.
yeah. Well, it was pawn shop here in town.
Yeah.
But no, I've always loved Jacksons, and just something about that that metal look to those guitars has always done it for me. And I always wanted a super strat body, a dinky, with a reverse headstock. I really wanted Mick Thompson's signature, but you're talking big time fucking money just to have his name on it and the Seymour Duncan blackouts.
Yeah.
And what I could pay, I paid $750 after tax for my X series that I just bought, and I could put those pickups in there and still be like $2,000 under what it would have cost me to buy the Mick Thompson signature.
I just saw Mick Thompson just switch to ESP as well.
Bro, he has been that motherfucker has been with everybody. He was with Schecter. He was with fucking Jackson. Now he's with ESP. He's always bouncing around. Don't know why, but you throw a bag at a guy,
Money.
you know.
Yeah.
But
money.
No, these guys. Well, Preston actually swung by the house and played my new guitar the other day.
Sweet. It's comfy.
He's never really understood why I like the Jackson so much. I love super strat bodies. I don't like Les Paul style bodies. I feel like they're really back heavy. He's always gravitated towards the Les Paul body. We've had this conversation on the pod before, but you know, I've always been so tight with gear, with guitars and stuff, and I've had some nice ones. I've had a nice Ibanez. I had that Randy Rhoads that was really nice. I sold them all, man. And of course, I talked about that on the pod too. I was in a place in time where I was fucking broke as shit, and I had to sell guitars and PlayStations and TVs to pay fucking rent.
Been there, bro.
So yeah, you know, man, it sucks. So I was sitting in the house the other day, and I was talking to these guys in the group chat about, man, this. I sent pictures of it, and they're like, just fucking, dude, treat yourself. You make big boy money now. Treat yourself. And my fiance is like,
thing.
My fiance's like, babe, just fucking buy it. You have the money, buy it. And I finally did it, and I bought it, and I'm fucking just.
Amen to that.
Half the time I just stare at it hanging on the wall like, I finally bought my dream guitar. And everybody's like, I said, your fucking dream guitar is a $750 Jackson. I'm like, yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And I could put a fucking $300 set of bare knuckle pickups in it and make it sound better than anything out there. You know?
I think Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, was really big in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Biggest guitar in the 80s.
By, you know, it was really popular among
Jackson,
shredders.
Kramer,
Like
Shredders.
lead
Jackson,
guitarists
Kramer,
and stuff.
and
So I can see why you got
Megadeth.
into it.
I mean,
James Hetfield almost went Jackson.
James Hetfield.
You guys listen to him talk about that?
No, I didn't see that.
I never
Yeah.
heard the story of why he ended up not going with Jackson, though.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I know it's
It
on
might have been
YouTube.
money.
Long
ESP
time
might have been
ESP.
throwing more money at him. Jackson had so many in the 80s. I mean, you got before Dave Mustaine signed with Dean, that's all he played was Jackson. But yes, all of the Shredders, they all played Jacksons.
I wonder if, because I know like in the 90s,
Jackson Kelly.
I think it was the 90s, Jackson kind of fell off.
They did.
Was that because of Ibanez?
That was because of grunge.
Even the 2000s,
That's fair.
like Jackson.
That's
Grunge
fair.
made Jacksons fall off.
In the early
That's not a grunge
2000s.
guitar
No,
at all.
it's not.
And
But
even
they
in-
had I'm sorry, Preston,
No,
I keep
you're
cutting
good.
you off.
Go ahead.
They had a big resurgence in the early 2000s with metalcore
I can
Yeah.
definitely
Because
see
of Bullet.
because of Bullet. And I believe Ollie played a Jackson really early on. Ollie Herbert really
Nah,
early.
he played an Ibanez Zyphos.
Oh,
You know that band Iconavera that we play with every now and then? Real good dudes up Pickerington area. Both of their guitarists are Zyphos diehards. That's all they play. All they play.
Jesse
Makes
Cash,
sense.
dude.
Ollie
Era
was
signature
a fucking
Ibanez.
god, man.
What were you getting ready to say about Jackson's Preston? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I may be wrong in saying this, but other than Bullet, I was trying to think, and I was like, I feel like Jackson kind of died in the early 2000s.
Trivium, lead guitarist for Trivium. He plays a Jackson.
Yes,
still
he
to
has
this
always
day.
played Jackson. Yep.
Why
I
can
think
not
they're a
of his
great
name?
guitar.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a great guitar.
I've always thought they were a great
I just
guitar.
felt like they didn't in the early 2000s, to me, when I was a young kid and I was looking around, it didn't feel like they were an ESP, or of course they weren't a Gibson or a Fender, because that appeals.
That's
to
a
so
different.
many.
That's a different.
It's just
level.
the price point, though, man. I mean, you could give any one of us any guitar, and we're gonna play it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about the name or how much it costs. Like, I care about how well it plays.
Quality of play style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want it to be comfortable.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your play style specifically, especially earlier on, Jackson just didn't fit you, man.
Even though I was playing fucking thrash metal, like it just, I don't know. I was the weirdo that wanted like a more classical looking guitar, but I played metal on it.
But you know, you go back and listen to we keep talking about Bullet. You go back and listen to the Poison or Scream Aim Fire. The clean tone on those albums.
One of the greatest albums ever.
Through a Jackson.
Yep.
Those are both Jackson guitars. I mean, it's just, and in my opinion, I've said it on the show before that Bullet had the best clean tone ever on those two records, and they were through a Jackson guitar. And the versatility that those pieces showed while looking so fucking cool on stage, especially the reverse headstock, like this Charvel sitting back here.
Yeah.
Like that just fucking did it for me. I was like, that is the most metal looking guitar ever that you can do all these different things with.
Were you a BC Rich fan? No. Because those are some metal looking fucking guitars.
I wasn't
had
a
the
Dean-
Warlock
I think,
with the red flames,
I wasn't
bro.
a Dean fan either, and Dean had some of the most metal looking guitars ever. Now I did
couldn't
want a
stand
couple.
Deans.
I did want Dave Mustaine's Rust in Peace signature just to fucking have it.
Oh, yeah, just as a
But-
wall piece.
Yeah,
man.
just as a wall piece. But I didn't think that. I thought that Dean. I was really surprised when Mustaine stuck with Dean so long. Now he's with Gibson now. But actually, did you see that he just released the signature Kramer? Because Kramer's owned by Gibson?
Dude, and the Kramer on the headstock is in
Yes.
Megadeth letters like that.
Yes.
Oh, is it
Fucking
really?
badass,
Fucking
dude, yeah.
awesome.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's
I'm not into
gorgeous.
V's, but
I'm not into V's.
If I was,
Yeah.
I'd buy that one.
Yeah.
The only V's I'm into is Randy Rhoads because they have the shorter hook on the bottom, the shorter what do you call
Horn.
it? Horn on the bottom. That makes them a little easier to set in your leg and play. But god damn, do they look cool?
Yeah.
They look fucking awesome.
I'm just into Strats and Tellys, man.
Yeah, man.
You
I
wonder
love-
why. Old fucking, what's his name again? Tim Henson.
Super Strats.
He plays all Ibanez,
He plays
bro.
all Ibanez AZs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I
just
play
Those things are
Fenders.
sweet.
I always did like Ibanez, but I think it's
Never
probably the
did.
same reason you
Ibanez
like
too.
you like the Jacksons. I mean, both
Super
of
sleek,
those
very
guitars were really meant to be very easy to play.
Metal music.
They don't fight you
Yep.
No.
when you're trying to play,
That's part
so
of the
it
reason why I
makes
think
it
he didn't like them.
I like a guitar that fights me a little
it's
bit.
very easy to. It's almost like when Preston was playing my Fender Strat. He was like, it's almost too. It's almost
easy.
like cheating.
Yeah.
It's so easy
Yep.
to play this.
Yep.
And I've always kind of felt that same way about my Ibanez.
This
Kind
one
of
right
a
here.
lower end Ibanez, but it's still a great guitar. The
It's
Jacksons.
kind of a middle.
Yeah, the Jacksons, the ones I've played always felt really comfortable and easy to play.
Which bad job out of me for not bringing it over here for you. You haven't played it yet, so that's a bad job out
That's
of me.
sweet.
Well, I haven't
That's
showed you
sweet.
my
That's sweet.
Strat either, so
Yeah,
we can both be assholes.
that's fine. But no, it does feel like cheating, and it's because of how just them strings just fucking slap, bro.
Even
I mean,
when you put, like, I put fucking 11s on my Ibanez, and it still feels so easy to play.
I think that I might be wrong here. I might be overstepping my bounds here, but does any Super Strat body style, no matter your gauge, I mean, you put 12s on a Super Strat body, and it feels like cheating. That
Yeah,
shit
I
just
think-
Probably.
The main reason I always put the heavier gauge strings on it is because I played a lot of like chord based, my style always incorporated a lot of chords, and I felt like when I put the nines
Paul
on,
muting.
yeah, when I put the nines on, like a lot of
You
these
couldn't feel
shredders
all
do,
of them in your hand.
like
Yeah.
it was
I got
when I
nines
would
on my
hit the
Jackson right
chord
now.
with my right hand, I would pick it out, I'd strum it or whatever. It just sounded twangy.
Yeah,
it would
thin.
sound
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
fucking tune.
a little bit of vibration in the string.
Yeah, it did not work out. So I always went with the heavier gauges.
So, Tyler, what is your favorite guitar while we're on the topic?
Well, I mean,
You did say Strats
in my
and
life,
Tellys, but-
I've went on a journey of guitars I'm obsessed
I
with.
like Journeys.
So,
We
so
love
my
Journeys
whole
on the
life,
pod.
I wanted ESPs pretty much as a kid because of Kirk Hammett. Not that he was the greatest, but man, he has the coolest guitars.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The all black one with the skull and
Yeah.
crossbone
Skulls,
inlays.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then it was
Reverse
Schecter's,
headstock.
and then it was
Yes, sir.
Schecter's because I wanted to be
Sinister
Sinister
Gates.
Gates.
Yep.
I told you.
Even younger than that, I wanted a Les Paul because I was hooked on Slash when I was a little kid.
Gold top,
Yep.
baby.
Yeah.
Dude, me
Did we-
too. I went
But I
through a phase
mean-
like that, and you won't believe me when I say this, but because of Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
This
I
cherry
got a buddy who's a
sunburst.
Cherry
massive
sunburst.
Kiss
A
fan,
cherry
but-
sunburst, man.
So my dad was just, I grew up listening to Kiss because my dad was just such a diehard Kiss fan, and Ace Frehley is the reason I picked up a guitar. And he had that cherry sunburst
Ugh.
Les Paul
Flame top
with,
on it.
with 3 active humbuckers in it, and I was just obsessed with that guitar. It looks so good on album covers. It looks so good live. He got so many different tones out of that guitar, and I was like, man, that's what I want. And then I played with it. I'm like, wow, this is fucking uncomfortable as fuck.
This is heavy.
but back to your original question, what my favorite guitars are now, I've really got into the Fenders mostly because they are the nicest cheap guitar you can get.
Yes.
You can get a used Mexican Strat that's as nice as anything else for $500, and I don't care. People are like, "Oh, the Americans are made out of different wood and
Dude.
hand rounded
If
frets."
it plays and sounds
I'm like,
good,
buddy,
it don't
I don't
matter,
give a
dude.
flying fuck. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Facts.
As long as them frets
Facts.
ain't cutting me, I don't care if they were
Exactly.
fucking hand rounded or machine rounded.
I mean, to me, I did have a 120th anniversary Gibson Explorer, but it's like, dude,
love
it's like, dude, I
Explorers.
was like afraid to play it. I didn't want to scratch it. I didn't
Yeah.
want to drop it.
How cool would an Explorer look with a reverse headstock?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a little weird, but
The Korean ones were always my favorite.
yeah.
I love the 58 Korean Explorers. That color, that goldish
I didn't know
bronze
they
color.
did anything that was not USA.
Yeah,
Are you talking about Epiphone?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
The Korean, it's like a gold bronzish color with a pearl pickguard and chrome humbuckers in it. And my God, is it beautiful! But they are not cheap. Not cheap at all. I mean, you're talking $12,000 for the lowest end one you can get.
But I mean, also, I
Goodness.
think the
For
Strat
an
is
Epiphone?
probably.
Yes.
Also, I think
What?
the Strat is probably like the most versatile guitar that I have, because I have stuff with like Seymour Duncan
Bro,
Invaders.
Jim Root plays a
Yeah.
telly.
I have stuff with active pickups. Like, I just think like the Strat, I get it all. I have one tuned down to C that's an HSS. And dude, I mean, despite what people may say,
Shit rips.
it
Sean
fucking,
plays
it
the
fucking
Strat.
metals,
Sean
bro.
plays the Strat.
Sean plays
That's
the
what Sean
Strat with
plays.
Seymour
Really?
Duncan Black
An
Winners.
HSS down
Yep.
to C.
My
Yep,
Strat's
it
always
fucking
been in
metals,
C, bro, with just stock fucking single coil. Oh, well, yeah, single coils in it.
Yeah, I love single coils too, man. And people's like, "Oh, I hate the hum. We'll buy a noise suppressor."
I was gonna say, but get a
You know,
noise
yeah.
gate. Yeah, I mean,
I got the NS2, man, and I can turn that. I
What's
can turn that bad
Tyler
boy
bitches
to
about
where
noise
there's
gates, but-
zero hum,
Yeah,
zero, and it does not take away from the body because I got
yeah.
the Mesa dual rack.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I mean, I'm convinced that pickups and shit are a gimmick too, bro.
I
Like,
promise you they're not.
I mean, dude.
That's a hot take, buddy. We'll get to that.
I was gonna
That's
say,
a
you know
fucking
what?
hot
Fuck it,
take.
we're
You know
here.
what? Fuck
We're
it,
here.
we're
That's a
here.
hot take.
Let's
bro,
go.
you can't plug anything into my Mesa and make it sound bad.
I don't disagree with
I agree
that,
with you.
but I have
I mean,
a recent experience.
You're telling me Fishman wines Tim Henson's pickups different than their regular ones? They
Most
they don't
likely
just,
not.
They don't just put his fucking name on it.
I'm
and
not
sell
the
them?
biggest Fishman fan in the world since I
Motherfucker
have
had
a guitar.
Fishman's in his pick
Yeah, I
in
liked
his
him there
guitars
for-
like 2 months ago.
I liked
You
him there
used
for a
to
while.
fucking like.
I love him way more than EMG.
You were a
Love him.
fangirl about them.
Yeah.
And I would tell you that I didn't like them, and you would like get physically upset.
No, it was.
Get physically
It's just
upset.
the clean tone that I'm not crazy
I
about.
thought you were going to puke the one time I told you I didn't like it.
No.
Like literally when you guys use that
No.
when you guys use that fucking ESP on the recording for inhibitions,
Yeah.
it pissed me off. Because as soon as you guys started recording the clean shit, I was like, God damn it.
I was gonna say he loved the guitar.
Oh yeah,
he loved the heavy.
Yeah, but
tone.
say it's all
Like,
distortion.
it's
now.
all
Yeah.
distorted.
The
yeah,
cleans,
that tone was sick.
Yeah,
that guitar sounds like dog shit clean compared to
it's
your
like
Chapman's.
almost artificial, like the clean tone with
So-
the Fishmans.
I agree with you 100% because there is not a single fucking sound that you can't create with plugins or
or pedals,
or some effect on a interface.
I'm just a firm believer in the way I have my pedal board built right now with my tube screamer and my Fender Pugilist distortion.
You still playing on a tube screamer? Fuck
yeah,
that's
fuck
metal
yeah,
as
dude.
fuck, dude.
I pair it with my Fender Pugilist, dude, and it gives it that extra bite.
Are you running a noise gate?
Yeah, NS2, Boston S2.
Yeah, is that what your noise?
I do that for the single coils because it completely eliminates the hum. It's almost like having Fender noiseless pickups.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't think that I can plug. And I have some cheaper guitars with some cheaper pickups too. I just don't think there's one on my wall that I can plug through my pedal board and through my Mesa that don't sound fucking sick.
So I agree with you there. I don't think you could plug into a Mesa Boogie and sound bad. For me, it's about clarity. So,
which you guys record and shit too, so that's probably where those differences come in a lot more.
An example.
I'll let Preston finish, and then I got a thought.
Yeah, so an example, a very recent example of, I have that new Chapman guitar, and it had Seymour Duncan Pegasus Sentience in it. Very well-known pickup, and a good pickups at that. For whatever reason, it made my guitar sound dark. It still had the clarity that I liked, but it was darker and a little muddier than I liked. And I put new bare knuckle pickups in it, and it completely transformed this guitar. Completely
I'd say
transformed this guitar.
The main thing was just the type of magnets. You went
Alnico
from
versus ceramic. Yeah.
Well, that's what I have ceramic in my. I have ceramic active pickups.
And the other Chapman, when it had Chapman pickups in it, and then I put the bare knuckle silos in it, completely transformed that guitar. Completely.
So I would say that some people probably put too much emphasis on pickups.
Yeah.
Do they make a difference? 100%. But everything is compounding. So you have like the wood the guitar's made of, compounding with the pickups, compounding with your pedals, whatever's in your signal chain, the amp. I mean, if you have a badass amp and
it's going to help out a ton.
Your pedals are you got some nice pedals, signal chains all correct, and you're running things through that, you're going to have a hard time finding a guitar that doesn't sound at least okay through that. But I think if you grabbed your cheapest, shittiest guitar you got, played it through that setup, played like especially like chords and stuff that needs some clarity, and then you grab your nicest guitar with the nicest pickups,
it's certainly slightly different.
You're going to notice a difference.
But I think his point was they're overrated.
I think people put too much emphasis on
like
a lot of
pickups.
times you can be.
I don't gear out. This dude gears out. He gears out more than I do.
I
gear out, but it's more on guitars than before I'm going to spend $300 for pickups with Tim Henson's name on them.
Yeah,
you know
I'm
not a fan of
guitars
signatures, and I'm with you right there. I think signatures is really just you buying the name.
Yep.
You're not going to sound like them. You're going to sound like you put Fishman's in your guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I bought an X series instead of Mick Thompson's signature.
Yeah. I mean,
Same
I love
guitar.
signature guitars.
They're cool
don't get me
looking.
Wrong. Yeah.
They look cool.
I mean,
They look great.
if it was up to me, I would own every Kirk
Dude, go look at Misha's fucking signature.
Jackson.
The
Juggernauts.
Juggernauts, that's it. His signature Juggernauts,
Oh, that's yours.
they're fucking incredibly gorgeous guitars. But why would I pay $8,000 for that?
It ain't 8, but still.
I've never
The fucking
seen
fit is
a
56.
signature guitar that I cared to own or cared to even gawk over.
Except the
I don't want to play
Rust in
somebody
Peace.
else's guitar.
You ever seen the Kirk Hammett Mummy guitar? Dude, it's the best.
The one with the all black with the skull and crossbone inlays and the reverse headstock is his best looking guitar ever. Ouija's sweet.
I actually have that guitar, and I put my own skin over it that I made.
You have that guitar?
Yeah, I do.
You motherfucker.
Yeah, I
you
do.
didn't bring it? You didn't bring it to show it off?
I have a KH202.
You're a piece of shit, bro. I haven't played one of those since I was like 16 years old in a Guitar Center. And they were like, we're going to watch you play this so you don't drop it. And I'm like, bro, I'm not going to fucking drop it. Like, just let me play it,
That bitch is still $700 used, man.
Yes. They're not
I
cheap.
ruined it, though, man. I signed the back of the headstock in red Sharpie. And like I said, I covered the whole body with, like, different cutouts and shit. I found it's sweet. Like, I'll have to show you a picture later.
I had an Ibanez with it was a G40 I don't remember which one it was. It was kind of like it was just like this one back here, kind of a mid-level Ibanez. with like a metallic black finish with a shit ton of metal flake in it, sparkled like a diamond. You know what guitar I'm talking about. Had a tremolo bridge, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I put a fucking sticker on it. Like, why did I do that? I was fucking like 16, 17 years old and dumb.
Yeah, I had this thing, dude. I used to sign every headstock of every guitar that I owned.
Really?
Yeah, in Sharpie. Because I always said it would deem it worthless to anybody else.
Damn, that's kind of metal as fuck.
That is metal as fuck.
Bro, that's deep. Like, that's deep, my guy.
Yep.
I've only had a glass and a half, 2 glasses of bourbon. That's deep as fuck, man. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but that's pretty fucking metal.
So I want to ask you guys a question, only because I didn't know before the podcast. So you guys started out jamming together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him and I did, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, how did that happen?
Well, so we went to so you know Miami Trace. Back in the day, we all went to different elementary schools. There was, I don't know, 5 or 6 different ones spread out across the county.
Okay.
He went to Madison Mills. I went to New Holland. So we didn't really meet until 5th grade when we ended up on the same Pony League football team together. Well, his dad and my dad ran around in high school together.
Okay.
And we're buddies, partied together in high school. So we ended up on the same football team, and our dads are talking on the sidelines. And, he was our quarterback, and we just kind of ended up becoming friends. And then before we knew it, we kind of both were like, man, you listen to Metallica? And I'm like, yeah, man, I listen to Metallica. And, like, we just kind of like, you have these conversations on the sidelines or after practice or shit, during football. And we just kind of discovered this similar taste in music. And ironically enough, I think we both kind of ended up getting our first guitars at the same time.
Roughly the same damn time.
And, when we were like 12 or 13 years old, I had the same thing he did. Cheap-ass fucking knockoff Strat is what it was. And I still have it. And I still have mine. And we kind of, I don't even remember how the conversations went, but it was just, hey, I'm playing guitar now. Oh, me too. Well, neither one of us had a fucking teacher. We didn't ever take lessons or have anything like that. Neither one of our dads played guitar. So, we just started hanging out, and we would just bring, if I was going to his house, I'd bring my guitar and amp. If he's coming to my house, he'd bring his guitar and amp. And every time we hung out, that's all we did was go to whoever's room we were at and jam, dude, and jam. And our parents loved it. Like, they never, turn that shit down. No, like, we were like encouraged to play, and we really taught each other how to, we learned how to read tabs, and then we started to play songs together, and then we eventually got to the point where we were, kind of doing our own thing and writing our own riffs, and we've said it on the show before, we were riffers, and then come junior high, now we're going to school together. So we see each other literally every day, and all we talk about is music, and we're playing football together, and we're starting to listen to metal in the locker room, and so it just continuously built and built and built. And I mean, we've been best friends since we were 12, 13 years old. Yep. And music and sports both. Yeah. But music, obviously, on a deeper level, has just been. I mean, Tyler and I, and you guys might have met through the gym, but Tyler and I is the same story. We became best friends, became fucking brothers through music, and the love and passion that we have for music. And I'm almost 28 years old. I guess I'm the youngest one of the bunch here. I'm the only one that's still 27. So fuck all you old bastards. But music has created the longest lasting and strongest friendships that I have. I keep my circle small, man. I only got a few homies, and the ones that I do, it's about music, man. And
can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, it's because I don't know that there's. I'm sure there is, but there's not like military, like veterans. I know some guys I work with. So my dad is he's on the board for something called Operation Cherry Bend, which is a veteran-driven organization that puts on events throughout the year, hunting events and stuff like that, golf outings. They have a concert every year for wounded vets, and we take veterans on deer hunts, on turkey hunts, pheasant hunts, and all that. And the camaraderie in that is what I feel like music is the closest thing related to that, to me. you know, I was in the fire service. I was a firefighter for many years, and the only other firefighter that I worked with ever that I still talk to is him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's nothing that's been able to create that brotherhood for me like music.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like you said you felt that. I mean, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
You know, to kind of speak on that, one of the hardest things you hear of people coming out of the military and having trouble adjusting to civilian life.
Yeah.
Now, I was not in any kind of combat field or anything like that. You know, I fixed airplanes while I was in. But the level of camaraderie while you're in the military is such a high level because it's you and a bunch of other people from around the country in a foreign fucking area. Even though I was stateside, it's not home. And you're all far from home. All you have is each other. That's all you have. And so there's still several people I served with that I still keep in touch with. And I would, you know, if they called me up and said, hey, I need your help, and it's within my ability to help them, I'm going to do it. And coming out of the service and going more into the civilian world where everyone's out for themselves, no one's, you know, it's you looking out for you, no one else is going to look out for you. But I do feel that same kind of camaraderie in the music realm. And we've talked about it a little bit on the show with different bands we've played with and making the connections. And everyone's trying to help each other get to the next level and, you know, helping each other get shows. And, you know, that's the musician side of it. But then also, like, as the fandom kind of piece of it, anyone I know that listens to rock and metal, like, I feel that connection with them.
It's almost like the Jeep bond when you own a Jeep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's
what
like,
you talk about, you see somebody wearing a band shirt walking down the street, you're instantly like, I'm going to go
talk
talk to that guy.
Yep.
it's like this. If I run into anyone that was, you know, that is a military veteran and I tell them I'm a veteran, they are willing to do things for me if I ask them to that you would not expect, you know, normal people to do for anyone else.
No.
I feel that same kind of camaraderie with other people that listen to the kind of music I listen to. As odd as that sounds and as odd as that seems, you know, meeting someone like Tyler here, you know, we connected on the type of music. I'm sure if I hit this dude up, was like, hey, I got an issue I need some help with, and it was within his realm, he'd help me out.
Facts.
You know, vice versa.
Or like, hey, we're selling $30 T-shirts. I'll fucking take one.
Yeah.
Bro.
Let's go.
My guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. But again, that goes back to, you know, like Mitch was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because he's a musician, he's a local musician, he's grinding, he's doing things the right way. If he was selling $30 T-shirts, I'd buy one.
Exactly.
Yep.
I would too.
I'd buy one. So, Mitch, I know you're listening. If you sell shirts, bro, Fear Dog, I got you.
Why the fuck
Me
ain't
too,
you
bro.
got shirts
Why
yet,
don't you
bro?
guys? We got a guy.
I gotta talk to him.
We got a guy.
I gotta
We'll hook
hit
you
up
up.
Mitch and ask him why the fuck he ain't got no merch.
I was
Why he
gonna
ain't
say
got
he needs
shit
some merch.
going on.
We got a guy. We'll hook
Also,
you
I
up.
mean, if you're a guy that likes hip hop, Mitch is fucking sick, bro.
Yeah,
He is
dude.
good,
I mean,
dude.
He's getting ready to
He's
drop
always-
a new.
He's
He's
like
always
top of
been-
he's top of his craft.
He's
dude,
getting ready to
like,
drop a new album too, or a new. Is it an E EP?
He recently dropped like a rock album, and
That's what
he's
it is,
always working on
Yeah,
content.
dude, he did that cover of what's that song called, where he was singing like real loud.
He just talked about it on the show, but dude, I'm getting old
Was
and
it
my
a
memory
Coldplay
is
song
dog
or something?
I can pull it up.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember
Here's-
I remember him messaging him like, "Dude, you're fucking awesome at singing." Like, I didn't
what
know he
I
could
say-
do that.
He's so creative.
Yeah.
Like, just he can
Oh,
do
yeah.
so much different shit, man.
And he does it all himself,
You
right?
talked
Like,
about being a fan
Yeah.
of all different types of music. He is too, man. And then he has this desire to create all different types of music and blend hip hop with rock. And now I know that's been, you know, done before. Beastie Boys, Hollywood Undead,
Right.
Limp Bizkit, whatever. But the way that Mitch is doing it is so much different than, like, fucking Machine Gun Kelly tries to do that shit and it's dog shit.
Isn't it crazy how there's like, outside of what we listen to, there's not like one genre of music anymore. It's all clash together.
Yeah,
It is.
it's all subgenres. It's all big mashup of shit.
Yeah.
We argue about it on this show all the time, but shout out to Fear Dog, man. He's doing the damn thing, bro. And
I talk a lot of shit to him because of the auto-tune thing, but
bro, T-Pain uses
awesome.
auto-tune, and
Yeah.
T-Pain's that dog. So
but Mitch
he
has
is,
always
man.
been very creative lyrically, and I've always given him mad props for that.
I mean, he used to rap battle people at basketball games.
he was talking about
in
it.
high school.
He was talking about it.
Were
on the
you
show.
there for the one he
Jay
at
Kurt.
the fair
Jay
when
Kurt.
he rap battled Jay Kurt?
I saw him rap battle Jay Kurt at a basketball game.
Hold on, he did it twice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Mitch.
He didn't say he did it
He
twice.
didn't tell us he did
acted
it
like he
twice.
was reluctantly pulled into this motherfucker.
He really was reluctant to do it because he was like, I don't know if I
Listen.
really want to do it. This dude kind of sucks.
If
but
you know Jay Kurt, you know why he was reluctant. So, I think we went off on a big tangent there.
Oh yeah.
Have we got all the way through his journey?
yeah, where are we at on your journey?
Before we jump
think
into
so.
hot takes,
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that there's nothing else that you want to talk about personally about your music journey, about your anything
I
before
mean,
we jump into hot takes.
I guess yeah, we are missing like kind of the most recent part of my musical journey.
Let's hear it, bro.
So I mean, a little backstory about myself. I was a heavy drug user from the ages of like 13 to the age of like 25, and I mean, I just quite blatantly threw my entire life away on it from a very early age. Like, I never had a fucking chance at adulthood, bro. But I mean, going through all of my challenges and stuff over the years, music helped pull me out of that, because when you're in those dark places, the music fucking speaks to you, man.
Facts.
They're writing it about you.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. And I mean, it was always mind-boggling to me how like someone can put theirself in that frame and like speak to you through instruments. It's and I mean, a lot of that for me was always Bullet. They have
Bro,
very, very deep songs.
they do. Their
Yeah.
lyrics are incredible.
That's why I fucking...
You and me, bro. You and me could get down on some Bullet
Yeah, they pissed me off though.
with the new shit.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
Ugh. It hurt my heart.
Yeah.
It hurt my heart so bad.
The newest album I do like.
Really?
Yeah.
And
I
Drop
do.
B?
Yeah.
They're terrible.
oh,
man.
I like B.
I do
Depends
like
on
it.
what bands do.
Yeah, but as soon as I heard them coming like da 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 da.
Yeah.
Oh, I
bro,
love
this-
that riff.
Is
Easy
that
now.
Shatter?
Terrible.
He
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
easy now. Come on.
As soon as I heard him like belting from his gut,
Yeah.
I'm like, no way, bro. Shut the fuck up, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I actually did. I really enjoyed the album, and it's not the Poison, it's not the Fever, it's not Scream Aim Fire. I get that, but it's better than the two before that.
Oh
In my
yeah, yeah. The one with the butterfly on it.
Yeah, I didn't
That one
like
was
that
fucking sickening.
The song
Venom-
Breathe Underwater was really good. though,
Venom
off
was
of that,
really
though.
good.
Yeah.
I liked Venom. You liked
Yeah,
Venom.
in high school we lost our shit to
Venom
that.
was nuts.
My favorite album by them is the one. Well, Scream Aim Fire is like in my top albums ever.
Same.
But as far as them, the one with Your Betrayal,
Yeah.
The Fever.
banger after banger
The
after
Fever. Is
that
banger,
the
dude.
Fever?
Yes.
I mean, the last
Yeah,
fight.
that whole album was
Alone.
a jam.
Oh, dude, Alone makes me lose my shit.
But I mean, that song, The Last Fight, bro, it's pretty much like a soundtrack to my addiction. It's crazy.
That's wild.
So, I mean, by the grace of God, today I've got 4 years clean, thank God.
Hell yeah, dude.
But also, I
Fuck
mean,
yeah.
Love it.
outside
Love
of
it.
outside of
Fucking
like
awesome,
Bullet,
dude.
also, I mean, I can go out into like, I got to credit Jelly Roll where it's due too, man.
Jelly
I
Roll-
don't know if you guys know about Jelly Roll.
I know. Yes.
I don't
He's
know
a-
his whole story,
He's a
but
fucking excellent songwriter, man.
and he is
just
an
writes
elite-
music. He writes music for people like me.
He's an elite
So-
human being too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
Dude got wrapped up in some shit when he was 16, caught a felony.
They charged
like,
him as an adult.
They charged. Yeah.
He went to
and-
big boy prison at 16.
Jesus.
Like it was a fucked up deal, and he takes He's like, I'm taking responsibility for it, but he's all about reform for discipline for minors and shit like that. But it fucked up. But his whole thing is, man, I could have just like you, I could have laid down and quit and just been a drug addict, been a criminal. In Jelly
Yeah.
Roll's case, been a criminal.
Yeah,
And
I was.
It's, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to, get on any sensitive subjects.
No,
But
I
did you
don't
ever
have
get in any trouble or anything?
Yeah, man, I don't have any sensitive subjects anymore. I live through it, and I mean, it is always going to be a part of my story. I can't erase it, but I mean, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't live it.
Did you ever get in any trouble?
Yes, I did actually. Yeah, I mean, I stayed up on probably like a 6-day meth bender one time, and threatened to kill a bunch of people I shouldn't have killed. They promptly surrounded my house and took me to jail.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Did you
never
catch felony for that?
No,
That's
I never got caught with. I can still own guns and vote.
Hell
and
yeah,
shit,
dude.
But,
Well,
like,
you should be able to.
I never got caught with like drugs or anything like
Just
that.
because you
Very
have an addiction
fortunately.
doesn't ever mean, and that's my thing. I've always been in the standpoint of if you are, in that frame of mind and, obviously your family never wants to see you go through something like that, but really, if you're not physically hurting anybody else, the only person you're really physically hurting is yourself.
Oh yeah, man,
So-
it was bad. Like, I mean, I got to where I was, nobody. I mean, my wife had kicked me out. My mom had kicked me out. Like, when I hit the old '99 Sierra, just stay in there, stay where I can.
Yeah,
driving
man.
around with
Damn, you're gonna get me emotional, bro. Fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I mean, I don't put myself up on any pedestal. Like I don't think you should. I've always preached this even to my kids. I don't think you should get rewarded for doing the right thing.
No, I don't either.
I think you just should. You know what I mean? So I mean, it kind of
It should be the standard,
I
right?
mean, any
You know?
any fucking addict Nazis, fuck you. I lived it. I get mad whenever people are like, "Oh, praise me, I have 30 days clean." I'm
Yep.
like, okay,
You're supposed to be clean.
exactly. Yeah, like you have children and stuff.
There's
you
a
know?
level of
No,
ownership.
When
that
when
you
I
know
what I'm
when
saying?
we clap for you and we say hell yeah, bro, because I think that's a level of being proud of, dude. You did what millions of people,
Oh yeah, man, and I mean it's not.
and you don't feel sorry for yourself.
No,
you don't,
I mean, and if any
it's-
dummy like me can do it, so can you. And I mean, that kind of it got me thinking about the other day. I was watching your guys' episode, "The Business of the
Business of the
Band" or
Band.
something,
Yep, that's a good
where,
show.
Where he was talking about like setting realistic expectations of we all want to be rock stars and shit like
Sure.
that. Dude, the level of hell that I created for myself that I lived in, I'm a fucking rock star today, bro.
Facts.
I
That's
mean,
awesome. That's
I mean,
metal as
fuck.
fuck.
I mean,
Metal
dude,
as
That
fuck,
is
dude.
metal as fuck.
I've got, and I mean, I hate to sound like that, but also in becoming clean, I've become character defect, very materialistic, because I never had a fucking thing in my entire
You
life.
got a nice ass
Yeah.
truck.
But
sitting
You,
out
you
there,
were
my
talking
guy.
about your truck, and it
You
was
got a
the
nice
nicest
ass.
thing.
Yeah,
you got a
yeah,
nice
I mean,
it
ass
is a
rig
nice
sitting
truck.
out there, my guy.
Yeah, because I mean, I was a drug addict that would drive around and clapped out shit with my kids. Like, you know what I mean? No AC, no heat type of shit. Like,
Yeah.
their mom didn't want them ever going with me type of stuff. But I mean, I just didn't care. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they'll never get me on no fucking car payment. I mean,
Stick it to the man, baby. Stick it to the man.
just today, I got everything I want and more, dude. I got my family intact. I'm grilling. She's making sides. Kids are playing in the yard.
Oh, I love
Holy
it.
yeah,
fucking
dude,
shit!
that's
I
the
love
I
it.
cannot wait to fucking clip that out and put
Yep.
that in our fucking our
I love
videos for our,
That's it,
our
baby.
episode previews
Rockstar
because that's
life.
That's the
shit.
life, man.
Rockstar life. I mean, I always thrived for normalcy because I was such a piece of shit for so long.
Yeah.
That fucking normal life is the top. That's all you want.
And that-
and I'm totally cool with that.
That's
bro.
the thing that I appreciate the fuck out of you is because you're like, dude, I was a piece of shit. It wasn't like, oh, this.
I'm not a piece of shit. so
I
can
was a
talk about it
victim.
now.
You're not playing this. You don't play the. Oh, I'm a victim of this whatever. I was.
I mean, I could go that route. I mean, I probably was a victim of the people feeding me drugs when I was 15.
for sure. When
But
you're a minor, yeah.
You're 15. You're a fucking little dumbass. You don't know nothing. You just ride around with who you're riding around with and do what they do. Yeah.
Dude, you know how easily me or him could have went down that
God.
path? Because we ran around with some dudes back
did
in the
some
day.
dumb shit,
We did some
man.
stupid. Ours was more alcohol.
Yeah.
16-year-old me was a straight up alcoholic, bro. Like 16-year-old me could drink 27-year-old me under the table for 3 days
Yep.
straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean,
And-
people like to put that on the back burner, bro, but it's just as bad.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's instantly accessible.
I mean, a 15-year-old drinking every day is just as bad as someone trying meth when they're 15.
And I was 15 and drinking
not
every day.
Exactly.
worse,
Like,
man.
I mean,
I was 15 and drinking every day, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I've ever been in your shoes because
But I mean, really, I think, the doctors is who got me speeding at first. You know what I'm saying? They said I hated being in school and I hated the kids I went to school with at East Clinton or whatever. But I mean, I just hated fucking being there. So they said he's got ADHD. Give him Adderall. I mean, I didn't even know it, but they turned me into a fucking pretty much a speed junkie for 2 years. I was in 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
I don't want to dive down into that, but is Adderall close to?
Oh yeah,
similar to
it's like
meth?
one chemical compound difference. It's like it's artificial meth, pretty much.
I got a
That's what
buddy
you're feeding
that,
to
like,
your kids. Anybody
not-
that gives their kids Adderall.
not even a buddy, but
Don't
like
do it.
a guy that I know that I follow on social media and whatnot. You know, not from around here or anything, but like brags about like Adderall, and I'm like, dude, I don't think you should be bragging about.
But anyways, back on topic. So I got to rehab and they had a fucking guitar, man. And like before that, I was just kind of running around doing the drug thing. I still had a couple guitars that I had for a long time, but I didn't really play them. I get to rehab, dude, and there's a guitar. And I tell you, that guitar is the only thing that fucking kept me from leaving and just going back into the cycle.
Oh my God, that's so
That's
awesome.
incredible, dude.
That's
bro.
metal
That's
as fuck
absolutely
right there.
incredible.
Cheap Ovation. What's the knockoff Ovation? Looks just like an Ovation. Applause.
Up there you go.
Yeah.
That's
Applause.
it. Yeah.
They had an Applause guitar, bro, and I talked it had a broken string, and like I talked the director into ordering some new Ernie Ball Earthwoods for it.
Yep.
And I talked the maintenance guy into giving me some snips so I could fucking.
Yep.
Clip you.
And
Yeah.
I just sat and I played that thing all the time, dude.
Wow.
That might be the most metal as fuck thing said on
Music
this
saves
show.
lives, people.
It really does, man.
For sure.
That's fucking awesome. Well, I know for one, and you know, it's you and I met a long time ago. This has been the first time I've seen you in several years, but I can truly say I'm proud as fuck of you for one.
Yeah, man.
That's fucking
Last time you
Absolutely.
seen me, I was probably a really, really troubled youth.
Might have been, man. It very well. I mean, if it was, you know, high school or right after high school, it very well might have been. But I never ever, you know, and I remember you in high school. You were never the guy that was giving anybody fits or was, you know, you're always a nice guy. You're always nice to me in high school, so I always, you know, thought highly of you and everything. And I just didn't hear about you or of you for a long time. And then Tyler mentioned bringing you on the show, and I'm like, man, I went to school. We went to school with him.
I know that guy.
You know, I know that guy, but you know,
The first time me and Preston actually talked was in the gym locker room.
Yep.
And I actually should probably thank you. He showed me the For We Are Mini album, dude.
shit rips,
And
don't it?
And it just came out, and it became one of my favorite albums of all
Oh
time.
my God,
Yeah.
that album
So-
was
Now
incredible.
Let Them Tremble.
You had the talk box on Won't Go Quietly, man.
Dude, Now Let Them Tremble.
Solo and Keepers of Fellow
Yes,
Men.
dude.
When we would play Now Let Them Tremble before we took the field on a Friday night, that shit just like oh my fucking God. But I'm
That
proud as hell
album,
of you, and I'm glad that you're here today, sitting here with
appreciate that,
us.
man.
Yep. Absolutely.
Living your life to the fucking fullest, loving music, talking about how music saved your life in a
Taking
way.
care of your babies.
Being a dad, being a husband, but you know, doing the damn thing. That's fucking awesome, bro. And having a
Fucking
cool ass
rock
job
star.
too. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a
Yeah.
legit
He's a
fucking
rock
rock
star.
star. So I think it's time we dive into some hot takes, man.
I'm ready for it, man.
And-
I've been anticipating this
So-
since
I
I
think he's going
started
to piss me
talking.
off.
So
Since Tyler and I started talking about bringing him on the
pulling
show,
up his nose.
he's got his nose going up. Look, Tyler Hidy has prepared out the ass for this shit, so I'm ready for it, bro. You can lay it the fuck on me,
Well,
man.
my first one was A Day to Remember is not fucking Radio Core.
Ooh.
I just want to know more about why you feel that way. Because when I think of Radio Core, dude, I think of like 3 Days Grace.
So
okay.
the word
Shine Down, who's had more number hits than anyone.
Yeah.
so the word core to me means that there's unclean vocals in it.
Okay, that's a little bit of
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So when I hear the word core of some sort, whether it's deathcore, metalcore, mathcore, swancore, whatever you want to call
Hardcore.
it, hardcore, there is unclean vocals in it. Well, Shinedown doesn't have that. 3 Days Grace doesn't have that. Those kind of, you know, Godsmack, those kind of what I consider dad rock bands
or butt rock,
or butt rock.
or divorced dad rock.
The reason I called, and we talked about this on an episode earlier this season. We spent a whole hour on A Day to Remember and how incredible they
you
are.
haven't heard that episode
haven't heard-
because it hasn't been released. It's
We
part of
spent-
this season.
We spent an hour on how amazing A Day to Remember is,
Oh,
Dude.
shit.
and the influence.
Wait,
that
I
they've
thought
had.
he brought up this based off of that
No,
episode.
it's no,
It
that
hasn't
was
been
this
released
season.
yet.
Okay, you're
We
going to love it.
We
You're
spent
gonna love it.
You will. We spent an hour based on like how revolutionary and important they were in
Yep.
bringing so many new fans to the
Yep.
genre. We compared them to Sleep Token. of how, in the
Well,
early
probably on a much larger
in
scale.
the early for sure in the early 2010s. A Day to Remember was the band that was bringing all these fans of punk and pop and even hip hop into metal.
Yeah.
Because it was radio friendly. They had very poppy choruses. They had a lot of chanting, like Fall Out Boy
Yep.
and shit like that. So when I call them radiocore, that's what I'm referring to, that they were a radio friendly metalcore band that anybody could listen
Like
to.
and I Prevail.
I don't always mean that as an insult. It is more of this is a band that anybody can listen to.
Yeah.
So when I use the term core, it means that to me, all the genre Nazis will come after me, that's fine. But when I hear the word core, it means that there's screamed vocals in it.
Kind of like there was a time where Amity Affliction, they were more of a radio core because they weren't as harsh. They
Yeah,
had the real
for
poppier
sure.
choruses, even though we loved them for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, 3 albums in a row were absolute ragers.
Yeah, we
See,
love
thank you for clarifying. I didn't know core
Yeah.
meant unclean vocals.
To me.
See,
to me.
whenever you said like radio core, I think of like I said, 3 Days Grace.
Like mainstream shit.
Mainstream shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
A Day to Remember to me is mainstream metalcore,
Yep.
meaning they wrote songs that anybody could like Sleep Token, like Bad Omens, like Old Amity, like Sleeping with Sirens, like Pierce the Veil. Like there's so many of those bands that wrote songs that not anybody can go listen to Currents or like Moths to Flames. Like that shit's too, like my old lady, she loves Sleep Token, she loves Bad Omens. There's certain bands that I know that I can show her that she's gonna like because they're that radio friendly. You could put them on 99.7 The Blitz and most people are gonna like it. So radiocore isn't an insult. It's just a term that I coined and I use for this is a mainstream metalcore band that most people could like. So I don't mean to shoot your heavy metal hot take right in the ass, but
it's
I
okay,
hope
man.
that makes sense.
It's okay,
to you.
man. I just wanted
So
some
what
clarity
is-
kind of on what you meant.
What's your take on A Day to Remember?
Oh man, they're fucking sick. They put out some of the best music of the 2010s.
He said,
He should have been on the
Oh,
episode where we
man,
were
they're
talking about
fucking
them.
sick.
He should have been on the episode where we were talking about them.
I mean,
Yep.
Jeremy is a bad motherfucker,
Dude, he
bro.
is a
He has one of the
badass.
most like intense voices ever.
and he's
Yep.
a hell of a
Yep.
producer
like,
too.
I mean, yeah. He's like
Yep.
the brains behind the whole operation
is.
too, right?
And not
He
just
is,
them, he helped produce
Wage War.
Wage War shit,
What, the one
Blue-
with Gravity.
Blueprints, right? Or
No, the one
no.
Shit.
It's the one right after that.
It's the thingy.
With Stitch on it and all those other bangers. Banger after banger after banger. The hell's the name
I
of
almost had it and then I forgot it.
Oh, now he's looking it up. But yeah, I remember watching a YouTube video years ago. He helped them produce that album. And at the time, I didn't even know he was a producer.
Yeah, and what I love so much about A Day to Remember, and I've always said this, they're the masters of creative simplicity.
Ooh,
Oh,
pretty
that
good.
is
they're like,
great.
they're
That's a
they're
great
the
way to
best,
describe
bro.
it.
I mean, they have like this fucking formula that I would guess like probably Taylor Swift and everybody else uses. Like I
Yep.
saw a video on it. There's certain like chord progressions and melodies that go together that naturally appear to the average person's ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I talked
it's like
about it a little
they've
bit with
mastered
like
that.
He did.
And
I talked
they've
about it a
made
little bit with
metal.
like pop
Metal
pop
as fuck, too.
formulas
Yeah,
and
like-
stuff. And that's probably how they grabbed so many people that were into like pop music and brought them into metal. Is because they to an extent did follow some of those
Yep.
pop
And
formulas.
the
there wasn't a lot of
chanting.
surprises.
Yep.
Yeah,
Take
that's
it
just
away.
bad.
Yep.
Like that shit, it just makes, like I showed that song to my old lady and like, listen, my fiance, God love you, babe. But she just, pop and hip hop and all that. And I'm constantly trying to show her how amazing metal is. And I started off way too aggressive. And I fucked up doing that. So I did.
Listen to this, bitch.
Now she does like Polaris, but that's because I've just force fed it to her
Yeah.
for so long now that
You
she's
will
just
like
used to it.
this.
But like Currents, like I tried to get it, and there's only one Currents song that she likes. So I was like, you know what?
It's too harsh.
I'm gonna try something else. And I started with Bad Omens, and then I showed her A Day to Remember, and she's like, oh my God, this is pretty. This is, she's like, it's not so over the top that I can't listen to it, And I'm like, uh-huh. And then I showed her Sleep Token, and now she's a worshiper.
Well, it's funny you say
she's
that
obsessed
because
with
I
Sleep Token.
remember this was like a super happy moment for me my wife, she had never been into true metal. She liked rock music and stuff. But My Curse by Killswitch. Fucking
song.
obsessed with that song. It's her favorite metal song of all time.
Seriously?
Yep.
Wait till she hears In Due Time by Killswitch.
It doesn't have the pretty parts.
Yeah, it does. That chorus is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Best, man.
Yeah,
Jesse-
that's a jam.
There's my hot
Boom,
take.
take it down.
I'll save my hot take, but yeah, I'll just. Jesse's better.
But
than
anyways,
Howard.
a day
But
to
anyways.
remember, man. That guy is just such a genius. Like, have you guys heard the song Paranoia?
Yes.
I mean, it's just about having anxiety.
That's a few years ago, right?
And if
Not a long time ago.
I mean, I'm not sure.
If it's the
I
one
wanna
I'm
say
thinking of.
I want to say it's on the same album as I'm Made of Wax, Larry.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, is that homesick?
That's a jam.
I think so.
I thought so.
I'm not good with names.
If it means a lot to you, all that was on there.
Paranoia's on Homesick?
Yeah,
I could
that's
be wrong.
homesick.
I could be wrong,
yeah,
bro.
Paranoia is.
No,
not
it's on the one
Homesick.
with the dude standing in front of the woods.
No,
like in
that's
purple.
it's not on there.
It's
That's
not?
homesick. No, but that is what's
Paranoia's
on.
on Bad Vibrations.
Made of
so
Wax.
2016.
Okay,
Shit,
yeah.
that's 7 years
Homesick
ago.
was 09, bro.
Yeah.
And you got to think, like, if it means a lot to you, which I believe is their most streamed song
Oh,
on
I'm
Apple
sure.
Music.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Just the way that song.
Me and him were playing it acoustic together for.
It's a fun
6
song
months
to
out.
play.
Yes, it is.
It is a
Yep.
tearjerker of a
jam.
song, man. But it's a jam. It's a jam at the same damn time. What was the term you used to describe them?
Creative simplicity.
Creative simplicity. Like, there's nothing about that
Simplistic
song that's
creativity.
incredibly
Yep.
complex, but it just works.
No, but that dude, their guitar player can shred the gnar, bro.
Oh, yes, he can.
But he just doesn't.
Yep.
drop in. Whoop-ah. Yeah.
Neil Westfall is his
Yep.
name, and he plays ESP.
No, the other
He does
dude.
play an ESP.
Oh, the other one.
The lead.
I thought that was
No,
Neil.
Neil Westfall's the dude strumming the chords.
Okay.
What the fuck is it? Kevin.
I'm not sure.
It's like Kevin Scap or Scat or something like that.
Shout
Sounds
out,
right.
Kevin.
Yeah, he
Shout
can
out,
he
my
can
God,
shred the
Kevin.
fucking gnar though, bro. But he writes the nicest like creative leads too in
Yeah,
their shit.
like real
it just
melody
flows,
filled.
yeah.
The way and again, I don't want to spend another hour on a day to remember because we just did it, but
Right.
I really think you'll love that show.
their song structure was just so incredible. The way that
yeah.
they were able to put a song together. So
Dude's a genius.
go ahead. I know, you're going through your notes. Hit us with
Oh,
the next
you want
one.
me
Is
to
he
hit-
hitting?
let's
Are we
go.
going to rotate hot takes?
No, we're just
No.
he's got a handful.
He's got a
of them.
handful, so we're
Okay.
gonna.
Okay, here was one. 1990 to 2015 was peak all music, all genres, all musicians.
1990 to 2015.
I do not disagree.
I don't disagree at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. The
You had-
the range from 90 to 15. That's a huge range, dude.
Bro, the
Black
R&B that I was listening
Metallica's
to at
Black
that
album
time
came out in
frame.
91.
I mean, I'm incredibly biased on that opinion. of
Cowboys from
course.
Yeah.
Hell came out in, was it 90 or 91 or
Yeah, somewhere in that frame.
So you had hardcore metal.
Try to tell that to our dads.
Symphony
Yeah.
of Destruction, Megadeth,
exactly.
92.
It's probably a hot take for more the new and old guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Symphony of Destruction, Rust in Peace. So you had some thrash metal masterpieces. You had
All Megadeth with
Pantera.
Marty was in the 90s.
Bro, you
Yes.
had early
Oh, yeah,
2000s
baby.
hip hop and R&B, which was fucking incredible.
Yep, that was
Exactly.
the best.
Lil Wayne, bro.
Oh
That's
my
all we listened
That
to.
was the
God,
era. That was the
dude.
best era of hip hop
I
music.
mean, it's
ever.
all in there.
I mean,
And now
all
it's
of
just-
Tupac's shit.
It's all went to
Nelly.
shit.
There was Ice Cube solo shit. Dre, Snoop, Doggy Style was 93, man. I mean, so if we're talking about hip hop, that was
We can talk
easily.
about anything, bro. I listened to Alan Jackson Drive in 2005 probably 100,000 times.
Chattanooga.
The whole album.
Chattanooga 93. The best country song ever written, Tracy Lawrence, Time Marches On, 94 or 90, 93 or 94. Absolute best country song
And I
ever
mean, that's a
written.
hot take for a lot of Metallica fans, too, because...
It is,
Yeah.
because they would
Hell
be
yeah,
like,
dude.
Dude, Load and Reload are fucking flawless albums and has some,
Yeah.
has
fantastic
some of
records.
Kirk's best work.
They
Yep.
are fantastic
Yep.
records.
We
And I
love
will
those two albums.
Always
and we
did.
would talk to
Loved them
people
since
that
we were kids, dude.
we would talk to
Yep.
people that fucking hated those albums. I'm like,
But the
Now,
thing is,
luckily,
though,
my dad loved Load
The thing
and
is, I'm
Reload.
not crazy about the ones on those albums that are on the radio. I love all the ones in
Like
between.
King
Like King
Nothing?
Nothing? Yeah, I was
I
going to say.
love King
You
Nothing.
like
yeah,
the
Ringside.
I love
The
that
Memory
song.
Remains.
I love that song, but I think I kind of got burnt out on it, like through my
Yeah.
dad.
Because it
Because
got
my
played
dad
so
was a
much.
Metallica fan, but he would listen to the ones from the radio.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted Prince Charming Bad
Slither.
Seed.
Slither.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude,
Ronnie.
those are some of the sick.
Bad
Ronnie,
Seed.
man.
Yep. Ronnie.
Bam.
That song's like about a
That
school
twangy
shooter.
shit.
See,
Yeah.
this motherfucker's out of place when it comes
Oh.
to Metallica, man. Come on, dude.
Greatest, biggest band ever.
Ever.
Absolute greatest
Ever.
band of all time. Yes.
But
no,
that's
you're-
what's so cool about Metallica. We've said this a
you
million
want to talk
Oh,
about
yeah, I know.
versatile.
You either love them
Yeah.
or you hate them.
Yeah, there's
there's
no
no
in
in between.
I mean, they're the only band I know that's done an entire
Even though
cover
you
album.
appreciate them, you don't
I
like
they
them.
were all
appreciate
better
their
than the
influence,
original.
and I appreciate what they have done.
and their cover album was
I
better than the
just-
originals.
People like me didn't know it was a cover album until I was at least 20.
Same.
Yeah.
Dude, I
22,
thought
been listening to them for over 10 years.
I didn't know Whiskey in the
Yep.
Jar was a Thin Lizzy song until I was
Yep.
in college.
I
I'm
knew
like, huh.
that, but I,
I
didn't
didn't.
know, like,
Now, Turn the Page, I knew
yeah.
was a cover, but the whole album is covers.
Bro, The Unforgiven 2.
That is the shit,
fucking
man. That
jam.
that twangy riff.
Yes.
I can play that shit.
Poor Twisted Me wasting my hay. Holy
Yeah, dude.
shit, dude.
Some of the sickest riffage ever.
Yes, dude.
Fucking awesome.
Ain't my bitch. Fuck.
2x4.
I remember 2x4. It was like super bouncy. The Outlaw Torn.
Yeah,
there's
dude, that's a
another-
masterpiece too. That's
Dude, you know what I'm listening to on the fucking way home? Is
And then
Load
the
and
softer
Reload.
one, Hero of the Day.
Oh,
we
that's a
fucking
great song,
love
too.
that,
That song is.
What was
like,
the
great
one?
song, too.
The one that was real different. On
I like
Reload.
Prince Charming. It's about
Started
all
with
the,
an
it's
A.
about all the
Started
evil
with
in the
an
world.
A.
Yeah.
He says, "There's a dirty needle in your child. Haha, stick me."
Dude,
Like
it's,
he's talking from the perspective of that.
yeah, it's
And he says, "I'm the 45 that's
Astronomy.
in your mouth."
What was
Astronomy was on
Dirty Whore.
Garage.
Oh, that was on
That's
Garage.
metal as fuck.
Yeah.
I like Dirty Dirty Whores.
I'm the 45 that's in your mouth, bro. That's nuts.
That's metal as fuck. Dude.
Yeah.
They're
I mean, literally, it's
Yeah.
literally metal as fuck. But yeah. So it's a hollow point, but you know.
No, I
No,
wholeheartedly agree.
I agree. I think that. I mean, when I think
Of course,
about,
we're biased because that's what we grew up in.
yeah, I mean, we're old guys. And
But, dude,
that's what
I
we grew
remember
up
my
on.
dad like losing his cool one day over an R&B song, and then losing his shit over the newest, heaviest shit that came out, and then losing his shit to Hall & Oates. That was like, it was everything, man.
So your dad stays with the times on
Oh
music?
yeah, my dad has been the biggest influence on me when it comes.
Is
which
he,
I know
is he
a lot
into
of
all the
people-
stuff you're into, like
all of it,
Polaris, all that
of
shit?
it, all
Really?
of it. Yep.
That's sweet.
He's not as much into the screaming shit, but he's big into new metal. He was always huge into R&B, always huge into rap and hip hop, always huge into hair metal. So like when I was a kid, it was not just hair metal. It wasn't just hip hop and R&B. It was everything under
Yep.
the sun.
Yep.
And
so
I
your
think he
influence
gave
of-
me my
yeah.
ear for music.
Yep, same here, because I can get down to just about anything
Yep.
except for the mumble rap.
Dad wasn't crazy about country music, but
And
I
the-
got into country
I mean,
music.
I can get into a lot of country, dude.
Yeah.
Even
Yep.
the new guys, Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, they're
Yep.
fucking.
They're good, man.
I mean, as cliche as it is to even say their names today, they're fucking.
They're
awesome,
good,
They're
dude.
big for a reason.
Yep. They
Most
are
of these
really
country
good.
artists, I can't really stand.
Yep.
Because it's all just about like fictional life.
Beers
shit
and
that's-
trucks.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
Your
But I mean,
girl that
Morgan
left you.
Wallen and Luke Combs, they do something special, man.
Yep.
They're fucking awesome.
They have some good.
And I
ass
mean, it's
shit.
always really appealed to me too when an artist can perform their songs acoustic, because that's the rawness, bro. That's what
Yep.
shows the talent.
Yep.
Can you really sing?
Yep.
Sit down with your guitarist and
I
show
can't.
me.
I can't sit there and fucking sing and it sound good.
Oh, and
Nope.
Breaking Benjamin is a perfect example,
Yep.
dude. They're fucking flawless acoustically.
Yep.
Have you ever seen the one where they're in Ben's basement jamming Breath acoustically? You've never seen Breath acoustic live in their basement?
Sounds
It's so
like I'm
flawless,
gonna-
man. It sounds like the album. And they're in
Wow.
a basement.
The recorder is almost dead.
Yeah. Tyler, your phone's almost dead. You got
There's a cord right there.
right here.
No.
Nice.
You fucked up the vibe, Kyler.
It's all good. Hey, we don't cut shit out, bro. We don't cut shit out.
Hey, this
All
is
good. Everybody,
unfiltered, raw and
everybody
real,
can see him
baby.
fuck up and make fun of him.
Yep.
Make fun of him, guys.
I got a microphone sitting in my face, so you can't even see me. Probably.
Nah, we're fixing problems around here.
It's gooder than hell now.
No, I know I had to step outside to take a piss.
Yeah.
Tyler,
haven't
we
said
didn't. Yeah,
much.
we
Do
didn't
you
get your
agree?
take on that hot take.
I forget what the hot take is.
1990 to 2015 was the best time in music.
Ever.
All me.
What I will say is I've always hated that I was a fucking baby during the 90s because of
I still
How
feel
much-
like I didn't miss much.
I don't either. I feel like I heard
I,
all of that.
I
music
heard it all.
brand new.
Blind Melon.
yeah,
We're
but
literally
Matchbox,
90s
like,
babies, so
yeah.
like we grew up on that shit.
I know Megadeth's entire discography.
all right, so
Yeah.
look,
Same. She-Wolf, bro.
I did not grow up on that shit. I've grazed upon this a few times on the show. I grew up in a house, in a family, where I was the only fucking male.
Bro, the house that Jack built.
I had nothing but women around me. I had no control over the stereo. I had no control over, we watching MTV right now. What are we doing right now?
Yeah.
So most of what I ever listened to up until the point that I kind of got my own fucking CD player. I started hanging out with Dad and listening to some of his music more. Dude, it was country. It was pop. It was a lot of shit that I really didn't fucking like to listen to.
You just dealt with?
A lot of, the first several years of my life, I really did not get into music because the shit that I was being exposed to was just shit I really didn't connect with. I remember when I was like 3rd grade or something, my mom got me a Nelly CD.
Love Nelly.
Oh man.
And
Love Nelly.
I had a stereo, and I would listen to some stations that I could get, but it was a shitty stereo, so I really couldn't get much on the radio portion. But I remember listening to that Nelly CD on repeat. And it was
Nellyville, wasn't it?
It wasn't
Nellyville,
that
baby.
That album was fucking incredible.
it wasn't so much that I loved the music. It was just that it was something
Southern,
different from what I was normally being exposed to
or
because
country grammar.
because I got my mom that listens to
early
country
now.
and pop. I got my sisters that listen to all this pop, Spice Girls and shit like that, NSYNC thing. I mean, just all this stuff that I really didn't care for. It really wasn't until I hit fucking 10, 11, 12, that age range that I started being able to listen to my own shit because I was, some of the things that were happening in the time and the way that you can consume music was changing to where I could be more individual and not fucking depend on the radio station played in the car or we're watching MTV right now and there's music videos and it's I specifically remember the Pink Panther song. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So one of these chick bands covered it or something and that was all over MTV for a while and then I had to watch American Idol all the fucking time. And that's the shit I was exposed to for the the majority of my youth up until I was 10, 11, 12 and I was able to start listening to my own shit and figuring out what I liked and Dad was starting to teach me to play music around age 12, so I was highly impressioned by what he listened to. And then finally around 13, 14, I'd say about 14 years old is when I was really able to come into my own into the music I liked, and it was grunge and it was a lot of stuff from the 90s and the early 2000s. And by that time a lot of that had passed. Preston and I had a boss that tells us about watching Deftones when their first album dropped, and he tells us a story about this dude skateboarding by him and comes up and asks him to use his lighter, and it ended up being the fucking lead singer of Deftones, old Chino, and watching Slipknot on a fucking a trailer in a parking lot. And all these different things, watching Korn when they first came out, because he was a big nu metal fan. Yep. He's telling me all these stories about these concerts he went to in the 90s, and I'm just what I would do to be able to go back in time and experience some of that, because I never got to experience that. The first concert I ever fucking went to was Poison, Dokken, and Angel Down, which was Sebastian Bach's thing. That was the first big concert I ever went to that wasn't my dad playing.
I bet that was a badass show.
It kind of was.
George Lynch, Sebastian Bach,
yeah, no doubt.
Don Dokken, fucking hell, Sue.
It was well, I wasn't entirely impressed though, because by the time I went and watched that show, Dad was teaching me how to play guitar, and I'm like, I can play all of this.
This is boring to me.
and I'm like
Although George
fucking
Lynch's solos,
13, 14 years old, and I'm
He wasn't
like,
playing no solos,
I can
was he?
fucking play all this. Dude, you'd be surprised the shit my dad was teaching me and the shit I was able to do back then. Dad still fucking yells at me for like dropping that kind of stuff, because I was ripping Little Wing solo. That was the first solo I ever learned, and I fucking killed it.
Beautiful song.
I learned all the slide shit on like Freebird, learned parts of the solo and shit when I was like 13. Like, you know, I've said it on the show before, I think, where it was
Ooh,
I
got
picked
a
up
hot take.
guitar.
Holy shit.
I picked up guitar so quickly and so easily that I lost interest in it at an early age.
I just want to say
And
thank
because
you.
I lost interest in it and I stopped playing for a while, and then the type of music I ended up getting into wasn't very guitar driven. Like, it killed a lot of the progress that I had made when I was younger. The
Holy
Navy
shit.
really fucking killed me because I didn't play for like 3 years. But yeah, I mean, if I could be an adult during the 90s, that would be amazing, because you had everything. I mean, you still had a lot of the hair metal bands that were touring. You still had this, you know, your Metallica, your Megadeth. You had all these thrash metal bands.
Pantera.
You had Pantera coming out. You had so much that came out during the 90s that was truly amazing. And then
so
you had
influential, man.
early 2000s, like 2000 to 2005, and then 2005 to 2010. So much came out during this range that you talk about that is really what I listen to the most, and what I would say is really some of the best music that's ever been written. Partly because prior to, I mean, each decade you're seeing musicians having to level up, because if I'm on the same level as these bands from the 70s or the 60s or whatever, and I'm just playing a few chords with, you know, some solos, and I mean, not to discredit anything that came out during that time, but like one of the biggest bands ever to exist was AC/DC. Nothing they did was complicated.
The
People hype
level
up
of hatred
Angus.
that I have for AC/DC
Oh man,
is
thank you
unmatched.
for saying that.
People
Unmatched.
people hype up Angus Young, and to be honest, he's really not one of the greatest guitarists ever.
He's not even top 25. He might not even be top 50, bro.
Then it makes me cringe kicking around on the fucking floor.
So it's
He
funny
just-
you
it
guys
was a
say
gimmick.
that, but if we look back,
And who did they influence? Be real. Be real.
I would say they
I'd
had
say a
more
lot,
influence
yeah.
than you may
Bullshit.
give them credit for, but they're bigger than Metallica.
They are.
I'll
But who
say
did they
that hands
influence?
down.
Absolutely
Because-
are.
Led Zeppelin influenced a whole hell of a lot more than they ever did. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Motorhead, Black Sabbath, Deep fucking Purple influenced more than AC/DC did.
so it's funny you guys.
I'd say a
this is
lot of
band we
people
hadn't
picked up
brought
the guitar because of AC/DC.
Oh,
and a lot of people.
A lot of people.
A lot
did.
of people
Yep.
started
A lot
on
of people
Hell's,
AC/DC
in
dude,
the
the
songs.
first song I ever played was Hell's Bells.
Dude, I loved
like-
playing Hell's
Yeah.
That's
Bells
like their
when I first
only
started
good-
Me
playing.
too.
But
That's like
here's-
their only good riff.
The first song I ever played live was an AC/DC song. It was Sin City by AC/DC. And,
Yep.
you know, we talked a little
That's
bit
a-
about it on,
not
you know,
new,
the
but
episode we had Dad
later.
on. But it was like, you know, it was a few chords,
Yep.
and it was just, it was fun to play. I mean, even though it was only a few chords, it was fun to play.
It's so funny.
They are fun. Their shit's fun to play.
I won't
Go ahead.
disagree that their shit's fun to play, because it is. But it's so funny that when, you know, I talked about TikTok, and the one video today, I'm like, oh, finally a filter that's not just fucking Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, and these old dudes are, and I consider myself fucking old, but he goes, what do you got against AC/DC? I fucking metalhead, bro, I listen to AC/DC. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Well,
No, you don't. You listen to AC/DC, you're 70 years old, and you think that's the heaviest music ever made. Suck my fucking dick. They played 3 fucking songs their entire career.
It's a hot take for Tyler.
Yeah, so
I mean,
I'm the
it's-
villain
I'm
of
glad-
the pod, so it's
Hey,
fine.
dude,
I'm
I'm
glad
right
you
there
brought
with
up
you.
AC/DC, because I was never the biggest fan of AC/DC, but I look back, Dude, they wrote some damn good songs.
I mean, I don't like
Dude, they have
AC/DC
so
With Bon
many
Scott,
good
they did.
songs.
I don't like AC/DC either, but
Oh, I
I
love Brian
can't. I
Johnson.
can't lie. As an early guitar player, when you learn that little
Yeah.
in Back in Black, you feel like a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Look, when I first
Dude,
started
that's-
playing,
was actually the first song I learned from
They
them.
had some
Yeah.
fucking jams, man.
Because that was easy to play.
Yeah.
Like that's how I learned how
But
to
you feel like a
tap.
badass, and everybody else thinks
That's
you're a
true.
badass.
Yeah.
That was the song that taught me how to how to tap.
Hammer
was-
on and pull on.
When I
Well,
first
kinda,
started
yeah.
playing
Thunder Kiss
guitar-
65 was
When
when I
Thunder Kiss
first
65
started
taught me
playing
how to palm mute.
guitar,
Thunderstruck taught me how to-
AC/DC was my all-time favorite band for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was because, I mean,
Your dad.
my dad and the influence he had and the kind of music he played. And, you know, AC/DC at the time rocked, but it wasn't until I started being exposed to things with really good and creative songwriting that I started looking at AC/DC thinking, like, why did I enjoy that?
Yeah.
It wasn't so much that I had a gripe or complaint about the instrumentals, you know, as a, you know, you talk to a drummer that are like, dude,
It's
we
so boring.
cannot stand AC/DC stuff because it's all just a basic 4/4 beat all the time. The guitar stuff, the rhythm guitar, all they
Just
did
chords.
was bar chords
Yeah.
all the time. Angus Young, look, Angus Young could rip a guitar.
Yes, he could.
He just wasn't really, I really can't consider him one of the best. But for his time, he was one of the best during that time.
And
But
we
I
also
guess
had
to get
remember,
to that
like, it was about
point,
stage presence at that time too, and he was a stage presence from fucking hell.
yeah. But I guess to get back to that point is things have had to level up every decade
Exactly.
because, you know, if I'm just playing on the same level that AC/DC did back in the fucking 70s to get big, I'm never going to get big.
Yep.
I'm never going to break through this wall of sound, this white noise of all these, you know, we talked about it earlier, millions of musicians that have a fucking laptop and are able to produce some bullshit and throw it out on Spotify and Apple Music and Pandora and all that kind of shit. And now I have to try to separate myself from that. I'm not going to do that playing fucking AC/DC level shit. You're only going to do that playing fucking...
If
like,
you want 65-year-olds at your shows, yeah.
oh, yeah.
I always say Jackal is AC/DC that doesn't suck.
Ooh.
Bang, we talked about Jackal with your
Yeah.
dad on the show. His dad toured with Jackal.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
that's badass.
We were obsessed with Jackal.
we were
as
obsessed
the
with
kids.
Jackal back in the day.
Yep. The
'cause
fucking
you-
chainsaw song.
You felt
Yeah.
lumberjack.
Lumberjack,
You
yeah.
felt like a rebel listening to Jackal. It was like hard rock for like dirty people. Like it
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
Yep.
dirty little mind, dirty
Yeah.
little. Like it was just.
By the way, that riff is fucking awesome.
Dirty Little Mind? Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned how to play it forever ago and had no clue how to play it anymore. But yeah, no, your AC Jackal was AC/DC that didn't suck. Yeah, it's
But yeah, to answer your hot take, I do agree with that. And I think
and I love the '80s, and
The
I
reason
still
I thought it was
90s,
a hot
90s to 2015, it trumps everything before it because it had to level up, and then it trumps everything since, mainly because I think the last
was
10 to
that
15
years? Yeah.
last 10 to 15 years, I'd say the music industry has been in this kind of realm of almost identity crisis where everyone is trying so hard to be different that some people are going way the fuck off into left field. Some
Yeah.
people are just like, fuck it. I don't think I can be much different, so I'm going to just do the same shit that has been done before. And so we're all like, you know, we've heard
Well, I mean,
this
we're
before.
going back
so-
and we're going back and listening to a band like Mood Ring because it gives us those. Some parts of it gives us a Deftones vibe. Just new metal vibes. I listened to Nothing Nowhere, which parts of it give me a Linkin Park vibe. Like that 1990 to 2015, man, that was so.
And I think the reason that
influential, man.
is, and I talked to some other buddies about this, I think it's just because the guys in that 2.5 decades I think they just mastered the art of the band. They mastered the guitars, they mastered the vocals, they mastered the drums, they mastered the producing. How much better can it get?
Yeah.
The only thing they can do now is make it more intricate
Technical.
and more talented and faster.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think that's why that was my opinion on it.
I think you mentioning that too is mastering the band is one of the things I love about 90s music up through that 2015 range. It wasn't about this one member of the band that can shred the guitar. It wasn't about this one member of the band that has amazing vocals, and then everyone else is just background noise.
It was about the song.
It was about the song and how each member of the band came together to contribute to that song and make the song amazing.
That's huge.
You didn't see that as much before. You don't see as much of it now. I don't know. I think you're right, man. I think it's unanimous. I think we all agree with you.
That.
But I know you got a few that might.
I'm sure the old heads would like disagree with that, and maybe even the
I feel like a lot of listeners would.
Yeah.
I figured you guys would.
But you know what's weird? My dad, was a teenager in the '80s. Graduated high school in 1989, and would still agree with that.
But then I see like this band on Facebook. They're like,
let me ask you.
They're like running an ad for a preview of a music video, and it's like, oh, did you love 2010's metalcore?
Yeah.
And it's like just people commenting on it, bro. This is dead. This music's been dead for years. Blah, blah. I'm like, man, you guys are fucking gay.
Bro, I listened to
to
Dying Wish the other day, and I had old Killswitch vibes, and it took me back, and I was
all I've listened to today is As I Lay Dying. Old As I Lay Dying. Early 2000s As I Lay Dying. It ain't dead. That shit. That's why I said before the show.
It wouldn't be on my phone if it was dead.
Confined is the greatest metalcore song ever written.
I guess people just don't want to hear new metalcore stuff like that come out. It's all about how fast you can play.
Yeah.
No, I guess.
Or how fucking low your tuned guitar is.
Exactly.
Playing a fucking 30-inch
I'm in drop
baritone
A,
8-string.
bro.
On a 30-inch baritone 8-string.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You have a bass
Just 'cause
guitar
you
for
wanna
a
be
reason.
different.
You have a bass guitar for a reason. Shut the fuck up, put it in C or B, and rip it, okay? Yeah. No more than 7 strings. You don't need more than 7.
Right.
You
so
could be
I know
like John from Monuments and playing Dadgad.
Dadgad, yep. This shit rips, though. I know you got some more.
Preston said he had one.
Oh, no, fuck his.
Yeah, we can wait for mine if need be.
You're the guest, and
I had to make sure
I'm waiting on you to piss us off.
I mean, we've kind of went over a lot of them as we've went on. Oh, I got another one for you guys because you guys all disagreed with this. All that remains with Ollie is good music. None of it sucks.
All of it.
All of it.
When did he pass?
They haven't put out an album since he passed.
Yeah, they have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Jason Richardson.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
remember?
right.
But you guys were talking about how All That Remains fell off of a cliff, and if it had anything to do with Ollie dying, and someone was like, no, they had albums that sucked before that.
Let me see.
And I was like, no way, you guys are nuts.
He died in 2018.
Give me the albums that came out before that.
I'm about to.
Madness was before that, and it's fucking terrible.
Oh, Madness has Ollie on it?
Hold on.
I think.
If it does, I retract that statement.
Madness has Ollie on it.
Album's dog shit, bro.
Well, he passed in 2018, and Madness is 2017, so...
Yeah, that album's dog shit, bro.
That album sucks.
Meaning it was probably started recording in 16.
I retract that statement.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. See?
But I mean, A War You Cannot Win was sick as fuck.
It was good.
I like that album,
There was some good ones.
A War You Cannot Win, because you had You Can't Feel My Shadow.
There was another
Stand
one.
Up, I hated that song.
Not Fading.
They tried to be fucking a day to remember on Stand Up, and it was terrible.
What If I Was Nothing was a
There's
jam.
a song that they did with Danny
Worsnop
Worsnop on there, too. That's
yeah,
really
you get burnout.
Not Fading, though, is still
Not
today one of my
Fading
favorite
What was the
jams.
song off that record he did with Danny Worsnop from Asking Alexandria?
It doesn't show.
Was that not on that record?
It might have been on The Order of Things. Because I remember I liked
That's
The
a good
Order
album.
of Things more than I did A War You Cannot
Same.
Win. Because you had
They're back in the studio.
The Greatest Generation, Victory Lap, Pernicious, Bite My Tongue, True Cavilt Metal,
True Cavilt Metal.
Criticism and
Self-realization,
Self-Realization.
dude.
That song
That's
is
a
musical
jam.
masterpiece.
That's
bro.
a jam.
Jam,
That's a jam.
2015.
I love that fucking opening riff
Yep.
to that song.
Oh, it's fucking gnarly. Victim of the New Disease, that shit sucked.
That's the one that has
Horrible.
Danny Worsnop. Just Tell Me Something. That's a decent one.
Yeah, I think my biggest hot take was Periphery sucks.
Victim of the New Disease.
Well, you listened to him.
Periphery
You listened
sucks.
to him today. Did you find an appreciation for them?
I mean, yeah, their skill level for sure, but I mean, as far as
Like
their
the music?
their musical structure, bro, I just don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it's
That's why I
just,
don't like 'em.
Maybe it's just way too advanced for my fucking burnout brain.
So
But
it might be too advanced for my, I guess, not burnout brain. That
Yeah.
I'm just a dummy and I just don't like it. Like, bro, I like to be pleasantly surprised. I don't like to have my ear raped with something that's so off time that it gives me autism.
or it's like an out of key little
Well, the thing
slide and then a
is-
random dive bomb.
Yeah,
I'm
I know
like,
what you mean.
Look, their stuff is not off time.
It's
It's
like the
still
mumble
on
rap of
time.
metal.
They're taking advantage of the note. They're not just playing the quarter notes. They're not just playing
Yeah.
the eighth notes all the way through. They're picking out, like, I forget some of the musical terms that we used in concert band and shit like that. Doing percussion, there's like these, you're using some of the, I guess, off time notes. You look at 16th notes and it's like 1 and 1 and a kind of shit, and they're doing things like that. But the thing is, it's not off time. It's still within the tempo. It's still within the time signature. The difference is they're picking out the notes that most people aren't playing
They
regularly.
feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have to literally, for Periphery to do what they do, you can't just go off of feel.
Yeah.
You have to count it out.
Yep.
You have to go
Yep.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4
Yep.
and 2 and 1. All that shit, and sometimes you're in your head 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, whatever the fuck it is, and you have to understand that stuff to enjoy it. So I understand why some people don't like that. But I find that type of stuff very interesting because as a former percussionist, someone who did dive into that kind of shit, that rhythmic stuff, I'm not a huge gent fan. But when I hear like Periphery do some of the genty style, but in a tasteful way, dude, there's about
a 2-year
blows
kick you were
it
obsessed.
blows me away because their understanding of timing and rhythmic structures and cadences and stuff like that they're able to incorporate into their music that no one else is doing. And it's because, like you said, they're almost like robots.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and to me, I'm into more like, I mean, you guys might make fun of me for this, dude,
No.
but like Afterlife by Avenged Sevenfold, I
That's
think
a
it's
jam.
I think it's one of the greatest songs ever written.
That's a jam.
Because it's so gnarly, but it's so musical. And like I just don't hear that musicality when I hear Periphery. I just
I
hear
see what you mean.
It's the
insane
feel.
You
blast
hear
beats,
noise and-
insane
yeah.
guitars, insane vocals, which it's all great, but to me it's just not.
It's
Dude,
the
I
feel
get
and
made
the
fun of
groove
because I still think that
somewhat
the
lacks.
Alarion or whatever the Aileron, however you pronounce it, scale 5/7/8 metalcore.
Aeolian.
Aeolian, that's it.
Yep.
It's
It's golden.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
There's so much different shit you can do in that scale. And everybody's like, oh, I'm so tired of hearing that same fucking riff. I'm like, well, you're not technically hearing the same riff. There might be some similar notes. There might be a similar cadence to it. But it's not the exact same. And the reason that they kept doing it is because it fucking rips. And it gets people hooked. It's catchy. It's like fucking... Unholy Confessions is that
Yeah.
is in that...
Yep.
Like it's...
I get what you mean.
That is...
Every bullet riff ever.
Yeah.
It's gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
them for sure. And there's a reason that I still listen to a lot of that shit today is because
Every day.
maybe it's my comfort zone. I don't know. But my favorite band of all time is Polaris. Well, they ain't writing anything like that. But I still love the older shit that was in that scale because it just, I don't know, man. There was just something about that hooked me and pulled me in. And every time I heard something like that, Black Veil Brides did a lot of shit like that. That just, it's so driving and heavy, and you can do it in at any speed.
There's so many combinations
Yes,
out of it.
and
Yeah.
there's half steps that you can go through in that same scale. I watched a TikTok of a guy that I followed that is a guitar player that showed that entire scale and all the different things. And he was basically like, I don't get all these people saying, oh, this is getting old. do you know how much shit you can do in this space?
So-
We've been using it the last 2 years, and it's completely different than the 5.7/8 metalcore.
but it's probably
basically,
still
It's still in the same
How do you pronounce it?
Aeolian.
Aeolian scale.
if I'm not mistaken, that is pretty much a minor pentatonic scale.
It is.
Yes.
Correct.
And the reason so many metal bands like it is because it is more of a minor scale, so it gives it more of an eerie sound. But
He's
what you're
describing what
doing,
this guy on TikTok was describing.
what
yes.
you're doing with a pentatonic scale, say you have a C minor, you're just taking out a couple of the positions from that, and I want to say it's the second and sixth positions of that scale that you're removing, because those are the most dissonant notes of that scale. And so with a pentatonic scale, you're basically just playing everything that sounds more harmonically pleasing. So what they're doing is using a minor scale that sounds a little bit eerie, but they're taking out some of the dissonant notes, so they're keeping the parts of that scale that sound pretty together, which is, I mean, honestly, pretty fucking dope. I ain't gonna lie. And I think that's why a lot of metalheads enjoy that. And I mean, we've fucked with it a little bit before. I know a lot of the music I enjoy kind of uses that, but to say it's getting old, I mean, that would be like saying fucking C major's getting old, and guess what? C major sells more fucking albums than any other fucking scale.
That.
So
It's
look,
just,
we've been rocking the same fucking the same 24 fucking scales for
60 years.
500 years.
Yeah. I was thinking electronically, but yeah.
So this whole Western music based on the chromatic scale and the major and minor scales that you develop out of that, and then you start digging into the pentatonic scale, which is just a broken down version of the major or the minor scale. We've been doing the same shit for like 500 fucking years. You're not going to get much different with it. You can whine and cry, oh, well, it's the same, it's the same riffs, it's the same fucking shit. Dude, you're not going to do anything that hasn't already been done.
Millions of records has it sold? I mean,
Quite a few.
A bunch. And it's always people that can't play guitar. I'm sick and tired of this shit. Write something different. Write something better. Oh, wait. You fucking can't. Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. I do be bitching like that, saying shit
I was gonna
sucks, but I
say,
can't.
I'm kind of like in the middle because I'm kind of sick of fucking hearing.
I'm
Like,
sick of hearing some of
that.
the same. So my issue with some of metal is I hear a lot of the same rhythmic cadences. Especially with like breakdowns and then like verse parts where
I don't like breakdowns that are nothing but chugs.
It's that thing they do where they chug and match the doubles steadily through the entire
Exactly.
Hey, listen.
fucking song.
and that's gonna lead into a
sometimes
hot
you're the
take I
hammer,
have
sometimes
here in
you're
a
the
bit.
nail. That's the best chug with the doubles ever.
I mean, which it was cool when it came out, but then they started making it the entire song.
Exactly. Yeah.
A Day to Remember didn't, but there are bands out there that have done
Periphery.
it. Yes.
No.
A lot of shit I heard
weird
today,
shit,
bro.
man.
Yeah, it was like chugging, matching the doubles, and then the weird
That's
noises.
gent for you,
The
though,
weird
man.
noises.
That's just phase shifters.
Dude, I
and fucking,
just feel like it's the mumble rap of metal.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's just a
It's
lot that you can't really
It's
understand.
way
And there's a
more
random
advanced
noise.
than mumble rap.
There's a random noise every now and then.
Yeah. So, and that's what's fun. It's
That's
funny that
gent.
Yeah.
That's the gent side
It's
of
funny
it.
that you say that because when I first got into them and other bands like them, I couldn't stand it. Could not stand it. Didn't want anything to do with it. Like I said, it took me a full year of listening to Periphery, and a buddy of ours that we had met got us into, or at least me into them, and it took me forever to get into them. And I felt the same way.
That's the thing.
6 months
he will
in.
force himself to like something.
Yeah, I felt.
I don't know. I thought they were all right. Some of the stuff they were doing was kind of weird to me, but then when I seen them live,
Yeah,
everything clicked, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh,
okay,
like
here
every
we go.
big band is good live though, dude. And I will stand on that every time almost.
Do you?
I mean, I'm not saying every.
That's what they do for a living.
Yeah, I mean, like I was never into Hatebreed, and then I saw them
Ooh.
live, and I was like, bro, they are fucking nasty.
No way.
Like, yeah, they're sick as fuck.
I never got into
I say the
Hatebreed
same thing
either.
about Godsmack. Now I love Godsmack, but there's dudes out there that don't like him. Like, go watch him live. Change your opinion real quick.
I'll tell you who the best live band I've ever seen is Shinedown, bro.
Really, I've never seen him
my
live.
They are so perfect. I want to fucking throw something
Dude,
at them.
it's crazy. I saw them at Fifth Third Bank Arena,
Ooh, big show.
and we had a skybox that we got through my dad's work. And man, we were sitting up on the balcony, and you could feel the power of that guy's voice in your chest.
Wow.
Brent's voice
He's
is
a real deal.
shoo-wee. Does he
It
have a hell
made
of a
me
voice.
You saw
like
them?
I went and seen them with
You
Five
motherfuckers
Finger.
remember Fly From the Inside?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
MX
my
versus ATV,
God, dude.
Look, so
PS2.
Oh, we talk about. I don't know if it was on
Sorry.
this season, but we talked
sorry.
about. He said MX versus ATV, bro. That got me into so much metal.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
and Tony Hawk
Yep.
games, they got me into so much metal.
Yep.
That's actually the first thing I ever heard of Shinedown. Like even before 45, I just
Yep.
had that game, and I always remembered. I was like, who the fuck is that? And then YouTube came out, and I looked it up, and I listened to it all the time.
Yep.
I when I went and seen them, they played with Five Finger Death Punch. They were also playing with Bad Wolves when Bad Wolves was first starting to come out.
Five-toe death kick, five-finger death
And
fuck.
My Fairy Death Pussy.
at that time, I had gotten over Shinedown because after that one album with Second Chance and stuff, like that album was okay, and then everything after that they put out was dog shit. And so at this time, I was like, man, I'm not a huge Shinedown fan right now. I was more interested in seeing Five Finger Death Punch than I was Shinedown. And really, the main reason I went to the show was because my dad invited me. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go to a show, Dad. And we get there, we listen to Shinedown, and it absolutely blew me the fuck away.
It's incredible.
I could tell that they doubled up his voice, so you can tell there's some pre-recorded tracks, which a lot of bands, especially on the level that they're doing it, and you're doing arenas, they do have that like backing track, but it's more subtle, just to kind of help them out while they're performing.
And a lot of it's
But-
like the stuff that they can't do on their instruments, like pianos or.
Well, it was more
Yeah.
just on his voice. So,
Oh.
like, it had his pre-recorded voice playing subtly, you know, in the background just to kind of help make his voice sound more full. But also, if he was barely off on a pitch, it'll help bring it back to, like, you know, it still sounds like it's good.
'Cause he sings so fucking hard.
But he, even with that being in there, his vocal performance was fucking immaculate. And that pissed me off so bad. I remember going home that night and I was like, I never want to fucking sing again.
Yeah.
But they absolutely, Five Finger Death Punch sounded like dog shit that night.
Yeah, actually, that might have been on the same tour that I saw them, because I saw them with Five Finger Death Punch also. And
This would have been
6
like-
a.m.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Oh,
shit.
man.
They were dog shit live, man.
Wow.
They were
Nick, you don't even play bass, bro.
They were
Remember?
fucking terrible.
Was their vocalist bad?
Yeah, their whole band was bad. I remember Five Finger Death Punch was the headliner.
That
dude.
project didn't last very long for
Shinedown
old
stole
Nicky.
the show.
Yes,
They
they
were
did.
Fucking awesome. But I mean, the energy Five Finger puts out should be
Oh,
noted.
yeah.
Because I mean, they got a little kid on stage carrying around a baseball bat saying "Burn, motherfucker!" burn."
Yeah.
I was like, bro, that's metal as fuck.
Ivan Moody's a cool ass dude
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So, and we were way the fuck into them in high school.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember when Bad
because
Company
they were
came out.
Yep.
they were metal as fuck, dude. But then they just kept writing the same shit over
I'm
and
so
over and over.
alone.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you guys just keep recycling the same song.
Well, you know, another thing that may have kept them relevant when they died to us, like, they can write the fuck out of a cover.
Oh, for fucking sure.
Bad Company, the Offspring song, "What Gone Away,"
They can write the fuck
Yeah.
out of a riff too.
dude. They can. They
What
can
was
write
the- what
some
was the
shit,
one,
man.
The one, it was a really There Is a House in Sin City, blah, blah, blah. That song.
House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah,
That's
that was a jam too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what kept them relevant, just because they every 6 months to a year
They
they'd
put a
pop
cover
out a
out,
cover, and
yeah.
it was a jam.
Bad Company, I believe, is the
Yeah.
one that started that.
Bad
too.
Company blew 'em. Yeah.
Oh, that-
Yeah.
They fucking.
That's,
killed that
that's
song.
one song that the cover is better than the original.
Mm-hmm.
Which Metallica has a whole album of those.
Yeah.
Soft Flex, T. Scott.
What other hot takes we got, ladies?
You said you got one.
Yeah.
I do. So, to the old heads that may or may not listen, they'll be like, "What are you talking about? This dude's amazing. He's one of the greatest." But this is a guitarist we never, ever mention. And I don't know that you two had ever got into him, and I could be wrong. But my hot take is that Peter Frampton is the most underrated guitarist of all
my God,
time.
that's such a great
All right,
take.
so timeout. What band did he play for?
Peter Frampton.
Yep.
I don't fucking know names, Kyler.
Bro, he wasn't. it
I
was
know.
Peter-
I've heard the name.
It was
I
Peter
don't
Frampton.
know.
His band was Peter Frampton.
Oh,
Didn't he like innovate?
Do you
the-
I know
like
nothing
Talk
about
Box.
it.
Do you
Talkbox,
like-
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like the way we do?
do you
or
feel the way
Do you
I do,
feel
yeah.
like I do? Yeah.
But that, yeah.
He
Yeah,
is
I
the
don't
most
really-
underrated guitarist of all time because
Dude,
I never
that
hear him
Frampton
talk
Comes
about.
Alive 1975 album. It's just a live recorded album. It is mind-boggling. It's Joe Bonamassa-esque.
Oh, Joe Bonamassa is the shit.
It is
Joe
just
Joe's the top
played
five
a gold
guitarist in the
top,
world
played a
right
gold
now.
top Les Paul, and
Yeah.
yes, he's the
Three
one. That,
humbucker.
yes, just like Ace, triple humbucker. Which in the mid '70s, the old triple humbucker Les Paul, if you weren't playing it, you were dog shit.
Yeah, I don't know enough to have an opinion on that.
Yeah.
No, I
neither
do.
do I.
He is the
I do
real deal,
because
man.
I used to
Sing
listen
me one
to
of their songs.
That fucking talk box, man.
Oh man.
Oh,
You ever heard?
shit.
Oh baby, I love you way.
Oh yeah.
That's
That's Peter
that's one of his
Frampton?
slower songs, but yes, that's Peter
Okay.
Frampton.
Oh.
Big in the '70s. But dude, so he was one of those guys, just like Stevie Ray Vaughan. He just did Stevie
Right.
Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble was his whole deal, or Ted Nugent. They was just one of those solo guys
Yeah.
that had a band, but the band was the name of the guy. You know, the guy.
Right.
The guy was the band.
I'm glad you have the history on it because I don't. I just know. How
I'm your
great
local
the-
music historian.
Yeah, he's a music encyclopedia.
He
I
is,
am.
dude.
I don't think that I'm a music. I know some stuff, but
He
yeah.
doesn't just know all the new; he knows
So-
all the
yeah.
old.
So
too.
Frampton Comes Alive, I believe it was 1975, is a live recorded album that is unrivaled in
Dude, if you
quality.
listen, to
and
Do You Feel Like We Do or
and
whatever
the
name of
live
that song
recorded
is.
version is like fucking 12 minutes long, bro, and he just shreds the whole time. And
It's
sometimes it's with the talk.
insane.
He'll go between the talk box and then just jamming, and then back to the talk box and then just jamming, and it's. So there's some other solo guys from the 70s, and Gary Moore is another guitarist.
Gary Moore, yep.
There's a song by Gary Moore called "Empty Rooms" that has the best live recorded solo I've ever heard in my life. So if you get a chance, go listen to it.
You're just gonna have to send me shit.
I will. But so yeah, no, I would agree. Nobody talks about him anymore.
That's why
We still
I
talk
don't know
about
why I
Jimi
brought
Hendrix.
it
We still
up.
talk about Jimmy Page. We still talk about Stevie Ray Vaughan. We talk about
Nobody
Yngwie.
talks
we talk
about Pete.
Nobody's talking about Peter
Nobody
Frampton.
talks about how overrated Yngwie is either.
Whoa,
About a hot take on that.
whoa.
Let's
Do we
go.
want to get to that yet, or do we want to finish our
Yeah.
piece?
Well, they
here?
don't have an opinion on it, so I agree with your hot take. They don't have an
Okay.
opinion on it.
Okay.
He's just like, dude, he's fucking.
He's a shredder.
He's AI, man.
Bro,
a shredder.
he's a
He's like if you told AI, play me some arpeggios.
Yeah.
from hell.
Yeah.
Arpeggios from hell.
He's just not.
Bro,
He's just not Sinister Gates, bro. Sinister Gates.
you're right. He's
Sinister,
twice what Sinister Gates could ever be. Sinister Gates couldn't hold his job.
No, he's Sinister Gates if Sinister Gates
Was good.
was not musical.
I see what you mean. I
Dude,
do.
Yngwie. So
I do.
Like
but
Sinister
Yngwie
just
is-
has these nuances in between the arpeggios.
Dude, you make a
that's-
great point because
Yngwie is classic.
I
Like
can't,
it's,
I can't listen to it.
what I will
Real
say.
quick.
hold on. If you
Fuck.
take,
I pissed somebody off.
if
No,
you
you're
take,
good, you're
if
good.
you no. If you take classical music, okay. So in essence, music encyclopedia, whatever. I'm going to take you on a little journey here. Metal, in essence, is classical music in the modern age. Okay.
Yeah.
Quality metal is classical music. and Yngwie is the epitome of that, and he talks about that in so many of his videos where songs he's written. He's talking about, this is an influence that I took from Mozart, from Bach, from you name him. And the fact that he's able to take something that was recorded on a harpsichord in 1702 and incorporate those styles into an electric guitar with the tones that the way that he's able to sweep pick and make these just flawless arpeggios that are just mind-bending. I'm like, it doesn't even look real when he's playing it. I'm like, there is no way in hell that I could ever even attempt something on a quarter scale of that. And he's such a master of the blend of classical music and heavy metal.
Yeah, I get it, man. He's dope for sure, but
I just don't.
I would say some of those guys
Listen
lack
to him.
feel.
yeah,
exactly.
They lack-
exactly.
I won't disagree with that, but that doesn't mean he's
you
overrated.
say musicality. When you say musicality, I know exactly what you mean. When I hear Yngwie,
I mean, people
it
just act
doesn't
like
feel
he's-
musical to me. It just
Go-
feels
yeah.
like
Okay.
he's making noise.
He's
There's no
he's
feel.
shredding. There's
Exactly.
not feel. He's not Stevie Ray Vaughan.
There's
I'm not.
no
Stevie Ray Vaughan's the greatest
emotion
guitarist that's
involved.
ever drawn a breath. I'll fucking fight anybody
probably,
on that.
yeah, probably.
No one. We talk about left hand versus right hand, right? Stevie Ray Vaughan had the greatest right hand of all time, ever. The picking hand. Your picking hand versus your chord hand. Your fretboard
Bro,
hand.
them Sinister Gates lessons be
This
hitting.
motherfucker is the biggest Sinister Gates
fucking
He
meat
gnarly.
rider.
is. He is.
He is fucking gnarly, bro.
He is, but I get what you're saying
But
about
just his ability to write a solo, I feel like Yngwie don't have that.
Bro, you need to listen to
Jesus,
Flow from
this is
Novelist.
crazy.
And it's not as shreddy, but when we talk about feel and musicality,
about No More Tears solo.
with
Oh,
that
yeah,
too,
dude.
that
Zach
solo
Wilde.
is fucking incredible.
Shit, bring tears to your eyes, bro.
But Flow from Novelist is one of the greatest solo writers that I can
Monochrome's better.
think of. Oh,
How do you guys feel?
Monochrome is Flow.
How do you guys feel about Zach?
Flow is the guitarist.
Oh, I thought you were talking about I was like, there's not.
no,
a song.
Flow is the guitarist
Yeah.
of Novelist.
Yeah,
dude.
his solo.
There's
in
some
Monochrome.
shit that he fucking does. My God, dude.
But I agree. Sinister Gates is one of what I consider an old school guitarist in modern metal. In
Yep.
the sense of he's
Yep.
very classical in a lot
Yep.
of the shit that he does.
he was a shredder growing up. Like, you
for
can
sure.
feel it.
And I actually
Yeah.
love his pro setup. Like,
But he's
his
also
amp setup.
classically trained in like gypsy jazz and shit.
Is
too.
he really?
Dude, he
He-
rips
no
fucking
way.
gypsy
He
jazz.
is a modern
Makes
day
sense.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eddie Van
Yeah.
Halen, the classically trained Randy Rhoads, like the protege, the prodigy type.
He carries
yeah.
the band. That's why.
I've said it before, he carries the band. Their rhythm guitarist,
a
whatever
hot
his name
take
is,
for
that
me.
dude.
Bro,
just-
he carries the band.
Not in the days when the Rev was alive, bro.
Oh well, that's different.
The Rev wrote like 90% of that.
Yeah.
He
music.
did. He
Like,
wrote.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever? You guys know a little piece of heaven, right?
Yeah.
Like the Rev wrote that on a fucking piano and then went and laid a drum track down to it. Already had the story written out and everything. Like
Wow.
that was a mastermind for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you go, I mean,
I guess just when I hear it, when I don't know the details behind it, like when I hear most, not all of their music, but most of it, I feel like Sinister just carries the band.
but at the same respect, Zachy plays almost everything he does. Like Sinister will play it and then Zachy will duel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, 'cause they
he's
bunch of-
left-handed.
Yeah, that he is, and he plays one of them goofy, or he used to play one of those goofy Gibson looking things.
Double
I remember
cut.
that.
Double cut.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
double cut. Yep.
Double
I remember
cut
seeing a
Schecter.
live video of them years ago when I was a kid and fucking loved it.
Yeah,
Tyler, you must love Yngwie, huh?
I do love Yngwie. I'm just because I'm jealous of him.
Yeah. I feel that way about Tim Henson. Don't feel
Did I
bad.
cut
But
you off?
most,
You got
but
your
my
point in,
again,
right?
my favorite
think so.
guitarist
I
of
don't
all
remember.
time.
My fault if so.
I'm sorry, Tyler.
No, you're good.
He never butts in or interjects. Sometimes somebody just needs to tell me to shut the fuck up, and that's fine. But
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Well, I think me and you are the type that if a thought hits us,
I'll forget
we'll
it.
forget it in
gone.
a heartbeat.
Well, I
Yeah.
got him on a tangent about
Yeah.
Yngwie.
No,
too.
you're fine. No, there's nothing wrong with that take. It's just he's different, right? It's
Yeah.
like listening to Mozart on a guitar.
And it's all subjective. Everyone's ears are
Yeah,
different.
but Yngwie's not my favorite guitar. Stevie Ray Vaughan's my favorite guitarist of all time.
Gotcha.
Because the influence of blues and metal together. Because people be like, "Well, that ain't metal." it's blues metal. It's
Yeah.
that motherfucker rips. I mean, shreds. And I love Jimi Hendrix, but he ain't Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No, not the,
Nope.
and that's probably a hot take for a lot of people.
I'm sure it is.
But because Jimmy's first, and people always think what's first is better.
Yep.
But dude, there's just no comparison.
Now, I mean, but there's a reason that Stevie Ray Vaughan covered Voodoo Child on an album and played it live every night, because that was his biggest influence, was Jimmy. And they're very similar. But the things that, and if you watch Stevie play live, that motherfucker, if his eyes are closed, he is feeling every fucking note that he picks, and his right hand looks like it's on fire when he's playing that guitar. We've talked about it on the show before. Tyler and I have had this conversation off the show of just tone is in the left, feel is in the right. Vice versa if you're left-handed.
Yeah.
Your picking hand is where all your feel and emotion comes from.
It's where all the dynamics come from.
Yeah. If you don't have a great picking hand, you'll never be a great guitarist.
But I think that might be, the Malmsteen and Sinister Gates kind of thing you guys are talking about. If you're doing nothing but arpeggios and sweep picking, I mean, not to say that sweep picking is easy by any means, because
dude, I've been playing for 10 years and I can't sweep pick.
Well, you've probably
Or
not
14
really
years.
tried.
I haven't sat
But-
down and tried, no.
The key to it is timing up, and all you're doing is practically strumming, but more slowly.
And
you're
almost
just going
in a circle.
You're just going up
It's
and
about
down,
flow, yeah.
and you might kind of hit one string twice or something as you're going up or down. But there's not a lot to it on the right hand. It's really about timing up your left hand, these fingers with the, that sweep that you're doing. And, for people on YouTube, you're watching me do it, but people just listening, you're really just moving your hand up and down.
Sinister Gates is a great sweep picker.
But if you're just doing that with a ton of arpeggios and stuff,
It doesn't
that's
feel
cool
musical.
and stuff, but it doesn't
musical.
feel very musical.
It's just
and-
look how
Exactly.
badass I am.
That's
I can
what it is.
shred.
Right,
what it
it's
is, yeah.
it's just
To
look
me.
at these.
Yeah,
these
no, I
sweet,
agree. I
look,
agree.
It's basically just showing off your left hand. Is really what it is. When you start looking into solos and making things more musical, you really have to have that balance between the two. And if you're just a constant arpeggio, like that's cool and all, but it has no feel, it has no emotion to it. Whereas, Sinister Gates doing his thing with his solos and the work that he does. I hate, Avenged Sevenfold, but Sinister Gates is the shit.
I'd love to listen
He
to
made
just his
everyone-
isolated tracks.
I do
He
all the
made
time.
Yeah.
he made everyone want a fucking Schecter.
Hell yes, he did.
He made me want
Hell
one.
yes, he did.
But ask me how many Avenged Sevenfold riffs I learned, because fucking Hail of the King,
Shepherd of
Shepherd of Fire,
Hail of the
oh my God,
King,
Nightmare. Yeah, dude, I
Yep.
fucking loved learning Avenged Sevenfold
What's the
songs
God
because
song? Something of the God. No.
I don't know.
We got quiet.
You know who
for a
else?
Shut the
second.
fuck up.
You know who else is? You know who else is a hell of a sweep picker?
Who?
Dave Mustaine.
Oh yeah, man. Dave
He also
Mustaine
invented
is
his own
just-
chord.
Dave Mustaine is probably my favorite songwriter of all time, and he's just bad.
He's a
bro.
one-man band, dude.
And I mean, yeah, he don't need. I mean,
He's had 85 million different
exactly.
other guitarists.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
And it still don't matter. He's playing half the leads anyway.
still writes the sickest riffs and the sickest lyrics
Yep.
ever.
Yep.
Man, he's so good.
And like darkly, like war and politics and corruption and all kinds of shit. Just
Even
and-
more than that, like that song "Addicted to Chaos."
Oh yeah,
The lyrics in that song are so fucking nice, man.
it's just I
Well,
love
dude,
Mustaine.
the coolest thing
the
about
spider
this,
chord, bro.
the coolest thing that I'm realizing about this, and just because we've had so many guests on and multiple different takes and opinions, like it's so cool to hear somebody else's perspective of how they perceive songs or music or how it makes them feel. And frankly, I'm extremely thankful that we sat down here the one day and said, fuck it, we're doing it. We're going to sit here with a mic in front of our face and we're going to have these damn conversations that we've
Out
had,
loud. Yep.
that we've had every single fucking day except for without the guests.
Yep.
And it's so cool to hear another perspective or another person's thought process, because
None
there's
of
times where Oh, I didn't even think of that. Holy shit.
Just like what
You
he
know
said
what I mean?
about the Call of Cthulhu and What If.
Never thought of it. Yep.
Same riff, bro.
Same riff.
Yep.
Definitely the same scale. If not, I don't know if it's the exact same notes, but it's definitely
Same
within the-
opening chord for sure.
Yeah, just strummed out.
Ooh,
different-
but
at a
they
different-
played drop tuned and Metallica didn't play drop tuned.
not until later. Definitely not in the 80s.
Yeah,
They were all
not till
standard.
Saint Anger. Anyways, Tyler, I know you had a couple brewing.
Yeah, I got a couple brewing. So I had
Can I be
one.
first?
You've already heard part of this. Go do your thing. Handle your business.
But I wanna hear
go
it
go
again.
touch yourself. But anyway,
Go touch yourself.
my goodness, man, you ruined everything.
Are we cool?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're good.
Did you unplug anything?
Everything is plugged in.
We don't cut out bloopers around this motherfucker.
All right, so
Bro, they see me plugging in Tyler's dead ass phone.
but,
We don't cut bloopers on this show.
So today,
Today is gonna. Sorry, go ahead.
I've been meaning to go back and listen to some of these bands we've talked about on the podcast. Like we've mentioned, I really didn't dive into metalcore too much until I met Kyler and Preston. And one band in particular that was at the top of my mind for whatever reason this morning when I got to the gym that we had talked about and you guys had mentioned I needed to go back in and listen to was Parkway Drive. And I don't know that I'm really entirely ready to talk about it just because I didn't make it through the entire discography like I intended to for today. But I don't know what the fuck anybody sees in them. Why the fuck are they as big as they are?
I think they're tight, bro. I mean, I could listen to their music while I'm working out. Hope for the hopeless. It's just like empowering to me. I don't know. It gives me positive energy.
Here's my take. How the fuck did they make it to an album 3 when their first 2 albums were dog shit?
How did Invent make it to an album 3 when their first couple were dog shit?
I don't know, man, because I listened through the majority of album 1, I listened through the majority of album 2. Both albums had songs I just had to skip because I couldn't fucking listen to them anymore. It was almost like every song was the same as the last. And perhaps when they first came out, it was something different, something special. But, kind of looking back on them from what I've heard up to this point, nothing they did was special. I've heard local bands that no one fucking knows. And I say no one as in like these are bands that are playing some of their first shows that I think are better, more creative, and even have a better fucking sound than those dudes. I mentioned to Preston, I'd rather listen to fucking Sour Blood than listen to Parkway Drive.
What don't you like about them specifically? Can you pinpoint it?
They did fucking nothing. The first 2 albums, when I was listening to it, the 90% of the song was open chugs.
What's that album that they got that's like na 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 na?
Now I will say, when I got to album 3,
Horizons.
I noticed an immediate uptick in production because the first 2 albums they put out, the production was not good. Like it was back
Idols
when
and
kick
Anchors.
drums, it was back when kick
Jams,
drums had a ton of
Frostbite.
click to it.
Jam.
So
Carry
like
on.
there wasn't a ton of
Feed them to the pigs.
there wasn't a ton of oomph with the kick. It was just this clicky sound that cut through the mix. And so like
Set
the
to
album
destroy
3, the
off of
production got
fucking
better.
Blue.
They had a few.
Oh my!
They were mixing
Wait till
in.
you get the deep blood, bro.
Look, they were mixing in some better riffs by album 3. I got started a little bit on
Atlas?
what is it, Deep Blue you said
Deep
it was?
Blue.
I got started on
Deep
that.
Blue's amazing, bro.
Nothing really distinguished from album 3 to me. I was like,
Motherfucker.
man, I'm just not seeing what.
Carry On from Horizons didn't speak
Carry
to-
On changed my life.
Look, what that made me think of was like every metal band that started their
gives me
fucking
goosebumps, bro.
their song off by screaming the title of the song.
You know why?
In the first
'Cause it
30
fucking
seconds.
rips,
It's
my guy.
fucking stupid.
It's metal as
It's the
fuck.
dumbest shit I've ever seen. Gravity.
At least they high horse. At least they didn't do what fucking Knock Loose did and said their own band name in the fucking beginning. Knock Loose, motherfucker. They fucking sucked before and they suck worse now.
Oh my God.
That's a hot take. Knock Loose fucking sucks.
I was about to hit on that.
Yeah, so I guess the hot take is there's nothing special about Parkway Drive. I think outside looking in, kind of hindsight, I would assume, and I talked a little bit with Preston about it, it was more of the same, but it was from a different band. So maybe it was like, we kind of had conversations around like Polaris and Make Them Suffer, and how Make Them Suffer, part of their popularity might have been them releasing material in between some of these other bands,
And how
where like
Monuments released the
we
song
were
on the same day
we
as
were
Polaris.
looking so we were looking for new material, and they were that new material in between release cycles of our
But
favorite
I'm
stuff.
still meat riding
Yeah.
Make Them Suffer.
So like you got yeah.
Space.
So I would assume the only reason
He's singing some fucking Genuine now. Pony, baby.
so my assumption is the only reason Parkway Drive ever made These motherfuckers. Shut the fuck up.
I'm about to start stripping, motherfuckers. Jesus. I
I'm
think
sorry.
that bourbon hit me when I got up to piss.
I'm sober now. Fuck.
Sorry.
My assumption is the only reason that Parkway Drive ever made it anywhere is because they were just more of the same, but from a different voice.
From a different continent.
What's that?
They're
said
from a different continent.
Oh, whatever.
But
Australia.
I'll be real with you. I don't think you can make that assumption after only making it through 3 albums.
Well, I got into a few songs from Deep Blue, so I'm like 4 albums
You're getting
deep.
there.
So
You're getting
here's
there.
my problem. This is my problem.
I'm
with
glad you brought this up.
I guess it's not a problem because this is how you listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
You start from the very fucking beginning and you listen through song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4.
Yeah.
The whole, dude,
That's just the way I have to do it.
but why?
I respect that.
Because I have found that a lot of the bands
Not
that
every album is a concept album that's telling a story.
No, but if I can't make it through your full album, then your album fucking sucks.
My thing
I
is
get not
sometimes
being able to
it
make it
takes a
through
couple
it.
albums for them to find
If you
their
got
sound.
2 fucking good songs off of that album,
He's raising his voice.
sorry, if you got 2 good songs off of that fucking album, your album is dog shit. Dog shit. That is what. Fuck that. That's my hot take. If you got you only have 2 good songs on your album's dog shit. I don't want the 2 songs that
agree
are
with
good.
that.
I do agree
Get the
with
fuck
that.
out of here.
that.
I
Yeah.
couldn't finish the first 2 albums from Parkway
Dude,
Drive. I
I-
couldn't finish them because they were fucking terrible.
So, did you hear what Tyler just said about
I
how
didn't. I'm sorry.
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
you don't think though, like artists evolve,
He's a
like
level-headed
like
man.
like Jelly Roll is a great concept for that because people hated him for going to country and shit, but he's like, you want me to not evolve? You want me to stay? Like, you don't think it can take a couple albums for them to find
Very
their
similar
sound?
to
Yes,
Dance Gavin
yes,
Dance. Their
yes.
first 2
Or
albums
Invent.
sucked.
So look,
Or
let
Invent.
me back it up.
I don't know
The
if they
reason I
suck,
start at
but-
the beginning is because the majority of the bands that I truly love,
Their discography.
I
They were
enjoyed
good from
their
the start.
first
Yeah.
couple of albums,
Yep.
and so on and so forth. So I go back and I want to hear that progression. I want to hear that evolution. I can't do that if I start at album 4.
Yeah, I
Right.
get that.
I have to
Yeah.
start at album
Yep.
1 and listen to their progression, and that's why I did that. I started at album 1, Couldn't make it all the way through. I was like, this is fucking terrible. Listen to album 2. I was like, I made it the majority of the way through that. And I was like, I'm gonna just skip to the next one because these guys are telling me it's album 3 that they actually got good. I listened through all of album 3, and it was a deluxe version. So I listened to a couple of the live things they put on there, and I was like, not impressed, but it is better than the previous 2. I listened to a few songs from Deep Blue, and I was like, this is no better than album 3. Production's just as good as album 3. The songwriting is just as good. I just can't, like, why the fuck would I waste my time on them when I could just go listen to Kill Switch or All That Remains or something like that? I'm like, why the fuck would I waste my time with that?
I definitely get where you're coming from, and they're different, right? It's
they're not different is the problem.
I think he's right, dude, because it's like the only reason we probably did listen to them now, thinking about it, because I never thought about it like that, is probably because we've heard every Bullet song 5 million fucking times.
It was more of the same from a different voice.
Him and I talked about how they did something different for us at the time.
What's funny is you say that, and I agree.
You said that,
I agree.
with you.
Yes. So I had said a couple times where, for some reason at the time, it felt somewhat refreshing, right? Meaning something somewhat new. But when I listen to them nowadays, even those albums, I look back and I'm like, why was I obsessed with these guys? And it's not in a bad way, like I hate Parkway.
It was new, but not different.
Yeah.
You liked it then because it was new, but it was more of the same of what you already enjoyed.
Just a different band doing it.
You enjoyed that style of music. You enjoyed what they were doing.
It was just a different band doing it.
It was just a different band doing it.
Yeah.
They did not do it nearly on the level that other bands did. So I'm like, I've had multiple people over the course of time talk to me about Parkway Drive. I recently decided I'm going, literally today decided I'm going to dive into it. We talked about them on the podcast before, where I dove into them a while back. It was probably 5 years ago. A buddy was like, hey, do you listen to these guys? They're awesome. And so I dove into it, like the one album that he recommended, and I was like, I don't like this shit. But I'm digging into it today, and I'm just like, I don't understand how they got their level of popularity.
Dude, and it's crazy their level of popularity too. I know people that are die-hard Parkway Drive fans.
Somebody just commented on my TikTok I posted today that said Parkway is and always will be my favorite band. They were the first show I saw in 7th grade, and I can't stand their last 2 albums. And I replied, I'm like, at least you get it. You're not one of those blind fans just like, oh, I'm just thankful it's new music. Just like you said about the new Avenged Sevenfold record. It fucking sucks.
It was terrible.
Yep.
But you're not one of those blind fans that's just like, oh, no, it's still pretty good. No, it's not. No. It's just not.
So I'm not going to say that Parkway Drive sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that they suck. I can't understand
the hype.
Around them. I can't understand why people really cared to listen to them, because we've talked about it on the show. Like, you got to be worth my time. Why would I spend my time on you when there are 4 or 5 other bands that do what you do but do it better? Why would I listen to you when I can go listen to fucking Sour Blood that I feel like does it better than them? Not that Sour Blood is exactly like them.
Y'all be on the next episode.
But I'd rather go to a Sour Blood concert and watch these dudes that I know personally that, look, I talked to some shit about the production of the first 2 albums from Parkway Drive. I would expect that from Sour Blood. Sour Blood's last album, and we'll talk about it.
Behind Enemy Lines.
Was good. Yeah. Production was good.
Yep.
Was it amazing? No. Do I expect it to be amazing? No. We're all a bunch of broke-ass musicians. We can't afford that shit. But when you're fucking Parkway Drive and you have 2 fucking studio albums while signed to a record label, I expect your fucking kick drum not to sound like I'm fucking tapping on a fucking block of wood. What the fuck was that about? It was all click. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
I will say, and I don't want to keep dwelling on this topic, but I will say that when I think of that era of that kind of music, you talk about Kill Switch, All That Remains, all that. Parkway's not, my favorite. Y'all know it's Bullet and As I Lay Dying. Those are my two go-tos. And then from there it goes to Kill Switch, and then it goes to All That Remains. And, Parkway's probably fifth on that list. But there was so many of their songs that just absolutely punched me in the fucking face. Because that was the first shit that I heard. I never heard... Dude, I don't think I've ever heard anything off the first two albums, to be completely fair with you, because I listen to music differently than you. I don't go back. I don't give a fuck. If somebody recommends it to me, and it's like, okay, well, I'll go listen to it because somebody recommended it to me, that's fine. But if not, nobody's ever recommended anything off the first two albums of Parkway to me.
Yeah.
So I don't bother going back and listen to it, because if nobody's recommended it, it's probably not very, very fucking good. So I stay in my lane. I listen to the shit of theirs that's really good, that I really like, and I stay there. And then I hear that as they put new shit out, I listen to it, and if I like it, great. If I don't like it, then I'm not going to listen to it. So I've never been one that's ever like, I've got to, and there's nothing wrong with you doing it that way. It's just a difference in the ways that we listen to music, where, man, I've just never really gone and dove through Metallica. That's about it.
Well, it's not like
that I go through and I can listen to every fucking song and be like, yep.
And I'm the same way, because like when I was trying to get on the Periphery train earlier, I messaged Preston and said, give me your two best albums. If I wanted to do that, I would have just went to the stage, But I wanted to have the best first impression as possible.
Because then it gives you more of an open mind to the other shit.
Yeah.
I think, so it's not like I do that with every band I look into. You guys send me music and I'll listen to that song. I'll listen to that album. And then if I like it, I'll go back.
Then you go.
But if I have someone telling me about a band and they're like, check these guys out, but don't give me any context around what particular songs to listen to, what particular albums to listen to, or anything like that. Or they maybe frame it up, hey, check out this band, you're going to love this album, or maybe this is the album where they started to really get good, or whatever. I'm just going to go to the beginning. But also, if I had my preference, any band or song that you guys send to me, really, if I'm not driving or something like that, I might listen to that song, and then if I like it, I'm going straight to the artist page. I go to the albums or the EPs, and I'm looking at what's the oldest, and I'm going chronologically from there all the way through. And maybe there's some albums I don't like and some that I do, and I'll save the ones that I do, and I appreciate those. But I just have not heard anything from Parkway Drive through this journey that tells me that they're worth adding to my playlist and spending any fucking amount of time on them.
That's fair. That's how I feel about Thrice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I sort of agree too.
And that's not a jab at you at all.
I know you're attacking my opinion, not me.
Not even that. It's just the difference in the taste, right?
Right.
And it's
fuck it, throw down, pussies.
I mean, there might be 3 Parkway songs on my playlist. It's one of those.
I've got some bands like that.
I mean, but there's probably 40 Bullet songs, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's like every album except the one the one with the butterfly on it.
Yeah.
I do also want to mention that part of me going
That's on
into
my bike
this
playlist too when I'm on a bike.
Part of me going into this is we brought up a discussion that we want to have on this podcast about top 5 metalcore albums
of all time. Yep.
Of all time.
And I've thrown that one around forever.
Yeah, so I haven't dove into enough of the old metalcore.
We can't do that tonight.
We can't do that tonight because I
I
haven't done my homework yet.
Yeah.
So I have to literally go back through a lot of these older metalcore bands that you guys talk about and really dive into them. There's like, As I Lay Dying, I've heard several of their songs pop up in shuffle while I'm, I'll finish one album and, Apple Music goes through its shuffle process and then some of their stuff will come up. Fucking love it, dude. Let's fucking go.
Yep.
Bleed From Within. Is that the one? I'm terrible with names.
Metalcore masterpiece, baby.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Why do I not know it? It was the single released off the latest album.
Off Shrine?
You sent me that stuff, and I immediately was like, this is masterful
their album before Shrine's
metalcore right
too.
here.
Levitate.
Yeah. So I'm like, why do I, knowing that exists, why would I ever go back and listen to Parkway Drive.
So you don't, now that you've delved back, you don't agree with me that Bleed is the new Parkway.
And I did agree with it.
I kind of want to puke now that I'm thinking about it because Parkway, dude, Bleed From Within is miles better than Parkway.
Oh, I agree there.
I agree.
Maybe they filled the slot within the
They're just in this
scene.
spot over here that it felt
Between
like that
metalcore
Parkway
and
was.
deathcore. They're kind
I
of
was gonna say I feel like you can't really call Parkway metalcore.
no.
Even
They're-
though it's very similar.
They have no clean vocals.
I mean,
they're
it
more
is, but it's
deathcore
not.
than-
Like the riffs aren't the same. There's no solos.
yeah.
Like, it's not the same kind of music as like Bullet or As I Lay
No,
Dying.
no,
Yeah.
no,
It's
no.
not even the same genre.
No, and even As I Lay Dying is different than Bullet. They're
Would you
they're
would
more
you disagree
Yeah, they're-
because
they're
you
a
said you
little
feel like it
heavier,
was all
but-
the same?
Heavy's a feeling, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Heavy's a feeling.
I don't know.
You don't know.
He hates Parkway.
He's just pissed off about Parkway.
I'm just
Winston,
upset.
get your shit together.
I'm just upset
Quit sucking.
because look, we've talked about it. We were talking about fucking Nickelback and some of these bands we hate, and it's like
Whoa.
some of it comes out of. I'll bring it around. Shut up. Some of this hatred we have for certain bands kind of comes from jealousy, a certain level of jealousy. And I'm listening to this shit from Parkway Drive, and I'm like, dude, your breakdowns sound like the shit that I was writing when I was fucking 16.
And discovered
Discovered
Drop B or
drop
drop C,
tuning
yeah.
and chugs.
Yeah.
All of Screaming Evidence, like old songs. I mean, even you listen to like End of Me and stuff, the breakdown is like a few bar chords with a lot of chugs. Like I'm like, this is Parkway's entire album. Like,
We wrote that.
Why are you as big and famous as you are? And I did
Why are
that
you
shit
there right now?
as a little punk ass fucking kid that knew nothing about music. Playing in a fucking basement you had a duck to get into.
You were way ahead of your time, bro.
I was just amazing, I
You're,
guess.
you're a revolutionary, my guy. You're a revolutionary.
So what's your take on that, Tyler? I know you've mentioned your bits and pieces, but do you agree?
With what?
Just in regards
The
to
Parkway sucks.
Well, I wouldn't say that they suck. I don't understand their hype. I don't understand why anyone would really waste their
And of
time
course, keep the last two
on
albums.
them.
Yeah,
Out of
I
your
just,
mind.
I mean, I think they're heavy. They give me some positive energy when I listen to them, but I mean, they don't do it for me like Bullet.
Yeah.
I can sit and say that 100 times, but
Okay.
they just don't do it for me.
You
like
and me can just meet
Bullet.
Ride Bullet off into the sunset, brother.
Exactly. I mean, dude, they're just something else.
What
bro.
Bullet for My Valentine did for me is almost unrivaled.
Kind of like a
Besides-
Metallica.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually think I like As I Lay Dying better, but Bullet did so fucking much for me as a musician and as a music fan. Just
Yeah, I think they're really.
you should cough some more.
I think they're really average. I mean, they have
You might clear out that mouthful, bud.
they have some songs that I think everybody can listen to, even if you're into like hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that one song we was just talking about.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Damn it.
I mean, it's a catchy song.
Yeah.
You can't deny that.
Bro,
yeah.
Tears
I'm-
Don't Fall's one that like anybody could listen to.
Yeah, if you're depressed or something.
Bro, the music video to that is intense as
my
fuck.
mom or dad's not going to be listening to that. My dad used to make fun of me for listening to Bullet. Said it was emo fag shit.
Guess I'm an emo fag, bro.
Yeah, me too.
I did paint my nails black for a period of time, so
It is Pride Month.
it do be Pride Month. Actually, so by the time that people listen to this, it won't be Pride Month, but it is currently.
But
Pride
yeah, I
Month,
just think
yes.
they're good average, you know.
This
Okay,
motherfucker's
that's fair.
Juneteenth.
They're not in my tops, but I can listen
Oh, I
to
guess
them
it
for
is
sure.
Juneteenth today.
Okay.
and Happy Juneteenth,
I
everyone.
would much rather listen to them than something insane like Periphery.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Oh, it's
I
just
suppose.
from a
Okay.
musical style standpoint, correct?
Yep.
So, does anybody else have any hot takes? Tyler, do you have another one?
I had a thought. I don't have my phone with my notes,
Yeah, you're in charge of
but
recording. right?
we'll probably have to touch on it another day, just because I'd really have to look into my notes and kind of redo that thought. But
Okay.
I got one
My-
that's kind of for you guys, going back on a this or that you guys did.
Okay.
I do have some this or that's for you though.
Every one of you guys fucking said breakdowns, bro. Solos all day and tomorrow.
All day and tomorrow.
And it's not that, because I'm a rhythm guitar player, dude.
Same.
I
I'm a
love
rhythm
riffs,
guy.
But I mean, when I go back, what has really gravitated me to music? I mean, when you're a kid and you hear Sanitarium, you're not listening to it for the breakdown. You're listening to it for Kirk's fucking 2 first solos.
Yep.
And I mean, they weren't crazy or anything like that, but
Didn't have to
man,
be.
they were
It was
fucking
feel.
good.
How about
It
the
was feel.
solo on Fade to Black?
Yep.
It
It was feel,
I mean, that
man.
shit is just and then, I mean, like I said, I heard Backcountry and Beast in the Harlot, and that was it was over. I mean, anything Marty Friedman has done.
Yep.
And I mean, if you go back and listen to
Steve
bands, Steve Vai. If you go back and you listen to bands like Avenged or Megadeth, their rhythm, whoever's playing rhythm, because both play solos, both guitarists of both bands play solos. I mean, they are not doing anything mediocre on rhythm by any fucking means.
No,
Like,
not at all.
I mean, they're fucking ripping it on while the other dude's doing the solo. They're ripping some crazy ass riff, especially Dave Mustaine.
Holy Wars.
Yeah,
That's the craziest. Holy Wars is the wildest fucking like main riff. Of
I love
a
the
song
verse
think I've ever-
riff
Trying to remember the.
because it does the ding, ding, ding in the
Oh,
intro, but then he
yeah.
goes into a slightly different riff for
Yeah.
the verse, and it's fucking insane.
That's a fucking spider chord.
Like, I mean, I guess solo music is what kind of hooked me on rhythm guitar, because I was listening to
That's
I was
interesting.
listening to what those guys were doing behind it, and I was like, wow, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Especially Matt Tuck, he's a huge one on that.
But he plays
Like-
leads too.
Yeah, he plays leads
Him and
too.
Padge bounce
I
back
think-
and forth a lot.
I think to me though that's more of the exception, not the rule.
What?
Having something spectacular going on behind the solo.
Yeah,
Because it's more often than not that it's some basic
But all of my
shit
favorite
going
bands
on.
do it.
Basic chord progression, yeah.
I mean, James Hetfield, he doesn't play easy rhythms.
yeah.
And he down picks every one of them.
Exactly. Like, I mean, all the music I listened to had sick fucking solos, but also sick rhythms.
You know,
that
in all reality,
both
when
drew me in.
when I think about me, same. I mean, I listen
I listen
you
for
and
the solos. You know what I mean?
You and I
didn't-
have a very similar music background as
Yeah.
far as what we were into and shit, and all that shit had wild ass rhythm.
I mean, I
shit.
think anybody that was an early Avenged Sevenfold fan is going to say solos over
Yeah.
breakdowns, because they just captivated you, man. They did something to you when you listen to that music. You're like, I didn't know a guitar could do that.
Black.
Yeah, I guess when I think about it, it's just like, because I appreciate solos just the same as anybody.
Well, you're a lead guitarist too.
And I'm a lead guitarist, but, bro, if here we go, Dick fucking riding Polaris again, but like,
Dude, they're sick as fuck, by the way.
bro, I'll listen to Polaris.
Ride that dick
The
hard,
song
bro.
does not
Happy
have
Pride
to have a
Month.
solo, and I lose my fucking cool. Like, there's so many songs of theirs that don't have a solo, and it doesn't bother me a fucking bit. But if it was a Metallica song without a solo, I'd be pissed off.
I could do without 90% of Metallica solos, though.
Well, nowadays, yes,
I think Kirk
because I
Hammett
realized
sucks.
that it wasn't as...
Hardwired to Self-Destruct was one of the best albums put out in a long time, and he killed it with every solo.
Yep.
Ruined every song for me.
Yep, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So, I mean, I could do without solos sometimes, but when you have a sick fucking lead guitar player
Yeah.
like Dimebag,
Yep.
you know, I'm in that song for the solos. I can't even deny
No,
it.
I got you.
Cemetery Gates is probably my favorite solo of all time.
Everybody talks about Floods, and I think that they have way better.
Cemetery
solos.
Gates, bro. Fucking
The breakdown and
insane.
domination,
Yeah.
disgusting.
But I mean, if
But
I
again, I said the breakdown and
Yeah.
domination. So
yeah, but I mean, if it's a this or that, dude, I can't get rid of all these solos that are engraved in my brain.
Yeah.
There's no way.
man, now you're really making me think about so many of
I
these
would probably
amazing
still have
solos.
I mean, I
go
can go on and on,
breakdowns.
bro. Skin of My Teeth, sickest solo ever. Megadeth, Keepers of Fellow Man, All That Remains.
There's some shit that
Ooh.
Ollie did that was mind-boggling.
I think that's
and it
his-
was feel-based.
You know
even
my
though-
favorite Megadeth.
I think
even
that's
though
his most
Ollie-
ridiculous
Yeah,
one, dude.
even though Ollie was very, very shreddy, he was so feel-based too, and the shit that he did.
He's very classical.
Yeah,
in the
very
way he
classical.
played.
Very.
Do you think his wife murdered him?
I don't know the whole story behind the situation.
Yeah, I read some articles, dude. It
I
said-
just assumed it was a drug overdose and didn't know that
Well,
any
he
detail.
had like his prescription meds, but he was found face down in like 2 inches of water, like at the edge of his pond. And the speculation is his wife murdered him.
Really?
Jesus.
I haven't heard any of that.
Yeah, dude.
Holy
I mean, you hear
shit.
all the rumors about like Chester Bennington. about how like he was onto some shit about some people into like child CP shit, and like he was
No, I think he was just a troubled person. I
like
mean,
a part of a group,
He
like
sung
about to
about
expose
being
a
in
bunch
trouble.
of people.
I mean, Chester sung about being a troubled person.
yeah, and
for
his
a
wife said
long,
like
long
she had
time.
saved him from multiple suicide attempts before.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh goddamn! I'm trying to find it. My favorite Megadeth riff, and it's not. I mean, I love Holy Wars.
Angry Again's a
Is that it?
oh
That's it.
man, I fucking love that song.
Angry, Again,
Yep.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Angry Again's a badass riff.
My body aches from mistakes. That's not Angry Again, is it?
I don't know. You
Yeah,
have
it
to
is.
play
I
it.
think-
Again,
Yeah.
angry. Yep, that's
Yes.
it. That solo's nasty too.
That-
Yes, it is.
Boom, 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 boom. I mean, I just think over time there's only been so many virtuosos that grabbed in massive people with their guitar solos.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's millions of them, obviously, but like 5 or 6 that are near and dear to me that
Yeah.
I gotta pick Solo Life, bro.
Mhm.
Side note, I just realized that I never turned off the AC, so we're going to have like this background shh the entire episode.
Hell yeah.
Heads up, listeners. Deal
Fuck.
with it.
Anyway, I got some this or that's.
Trust.
Ooh.
Trust
Yeah, that's a
off
good
Cryptic
one.
Writings.
That's
That's
a
my
good one.
favorite Megadeth riff because it is way more complex than it sounds.
Mine's Skin on My
And
Teeth.
The
for
way
sure.
Ooh.
to play that riff and sing at the same time, I've seen a video breaking down that, like how difficult that is to do. I fucking love that riff. Tyler, go ahead.
All right, I got 2 for you. And one is obviously because of the shirt that you're wearing and the age-old
Debate.
debate.
I knew it was
Megadeth
Or Metallica.
or Metallica. One, the entire discography stays. The other, the entire discography is gone forever.
Oh, shit.
That's really hard, but I pick Megadeth.
Oh.
I pick Megadeth because they're so much more musically talented than Metallica. Metallica has like timeless songs that, I mean, the Black Album, every song on it's good, but then they
Yep.
have the ones I could do without, you know.
Yeah.
Inner Sandman.
The overplayed ones.
I mean, I love like Through the Never, Don't Tread on Me, God That
Fucking-
Failed.
Yeah.
Shit like
Sad
that.
but true's
Bro,
a
the God
fucking
that
jam.
failed.
It
The
is,
God That
man, but I've
Failed.
heard it so
Yeah.
ungodly
I
many
know.
of times
I
that
know.
it could go away forever. And I
Maybe
wouldn't
that's a
mind.
blessing in disguise for Megadeth that they weren't a even though they
But
were
I mean,
like
you just
a
listen
Metallica.
to the fucking riffage. Yeah, James Hetfield's faster, but I mean, Dave Mustaine's way more musical.
He
and
did some
lead
shit.
guitarist, no comparison.
Yep.
90s Nick Menza compared to Lars, no comparison.
Yeah.
David Ellison.
David Ellison.
I mean, yeah, dude. Megadeth.
Be careful
all
with my
day.
guy Jason Newsted. That's my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
bassist of
Jason
all
Jason
time.
Newsted was the shit for sure. But I mean, just Megadeth as a whole. I mean,
Ooh.
Addicted to Chaos.
I need
The
to go
Killing
back
Road.
through Megadeth.
I mean, the whole Euthanasia album, the whole, what's the fucking big one of the 90s with Skin on My
Rust in
Teeth?
Peace. Oh,
No.
Countdown to
yeah,
Extinction.
yeah, that
Yeah.
whole fucking album, dude. Rust in Peace. I mean, they just have masterpiece
Cryptic
after
Writings.
masterpiece after masterpiece.
Tornado of Souls.
Dave
bro.
Dave
Yeah.
Mustaine. Yeah, oh yeah. High Speed Dirt.
High Speed. Did you say She Wolf?
I did not, but
She-Wolf,
song
Triple
is,
F.
That song's badass live. Like,
Dude,
I'm-
even their old shit, dude. Peace Sells, the Mechanics, which is actually the Four Horsemen, because
Yep.
obviously Mustaine basically wrote the entire Kill 'Em All album.
Yep.
And he took the Four Horsemen and sped it up a whole step and said, "No, we can play faster on their first
and
record."
as big of a Metallica fan as I am, I don't think I could live without Megadeth, bro. I don't think I could. So it's Megadeth for
That's
me.
the toughest question ever for me.
That's hard, dude.
Metallica versus Megadeth has always been the toughest question ever for me because I grew up with a dad that was obsessed with them both.
Yep, me too.
And all and the big CD binder had every fucking disc.
Still got
And I
that
just-
CD
Big
binder.
CD binder.
Yeah,
Still
man.
got it.
Had the big- then we had the portable one that like you could zip. It was in the shape of, it was a circle and you could zip it up, throw it under the center console. Oh yeah.
Yep.
So, but when I was in high school, I had the big one, the book. That's
Yep.
what I had.
That's what I still got.
But no, that has always been the toughest argument for me because of how much both of those bands have meant to me.
It's just what Marty Friedman did to my ears. I could never live without, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way. They still come on my playlist almost daily.
Caress those ears. Just right. Huh?
Marty Friedman is a god, man.
What other bands was he in?
He did that shit with Jason Becker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cacophony was his first band.
Okay.
and then I think it's Megadeth, and then he's been a humongous celebrity in Japan for the last like 20 years.
Okay.
He's monstrous in Japan. And it was always a weird concept to me that Megadeth's lead guitarist at the time, Marty Friedman, speaks more Japanese than he speaks English.
Interesting. I have a hot take, and I know we're probably well over 3 hours. I don't want to keep it going, but you talked about Peter Frampton being one of the most underrated guitarists of all time.
I think he's the.
Well, I have one that nobody ever talks about that is, and especially if you watch any of his stuff, just him picking around and playing or warm-ups or solo stuff. Richie Sambora. Does anybody even know who Richie Sambora is?
I know that name.
I've heard the name, but I couldn't tell you anything about him.
Bon Jovi? Am I right?
You are
Who?
correct.
Bon Jovi.
Mm.
They had some killer songs
Richie
too, man.
Sambora.
Shit, man.
I
wrote
fucking-
some of the coolest fucking shit. Dude, say what you want. Wanted Dead or Alive.
Jam.
The 12-string riff.
And the solo.
Which I believe Bon Jovi came up with the idea, and Richie said, let's put it on a 12-string. And then the solo in that is mind-boggling.
It's beautiful.
And using a talk box, and like the different, and Richie Sambora brought Western like fashion to metal. I mean, he was wearing a duster coat and had a flat-brimmed belt hat on, and just like the coolness that he embodied while being this kind of quiet persona on stage that just absolutely fucking shredded. And if you watch any of his solo stuff live, he's all feel. He's pure feel. I'm impressed that you knew that he was Bon Jovi.
I don't think he's really underrated, though, dude. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that consider him a god.
Okay,
Well,
that
and
might be
that's
true.
Yeah.
That's the same as Peter Frampton to me, though. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel like he's a god, but then I think about us having our conversations, or even older guys having their conversation. I'm like,
Nobody
why
talks
the
about
fuck
Peter
is
Frampton.
nobody talks about Peter Frampton?
Yeah. Or Eric Clapton. There's a lot of people that forget about Eric Clapton.
My grandpa
too.
will talk about Peter Frampton and Eric Clapton until he's blue in the face.
Yeah.
But I have always been obsessed with Richie Sambora in a lot of different ways. And I think that a lot of people think that Bon Jovi in general is overrated because of extreme popularity and all that they overlook how talented Richie is.
Oh, yeah. Bon Jovi's talented as fuck, too. I mean,
So he absolutely is a hell of a guitar player, too. He just didn't play a lot live.
I remember my mom had their greatest hits album, and we used to listen to that bitch nonstop.
Yeah, man.
Fucking
This
loved
dude,
it.
this dude's wife will tell you, she hated me.
Oh shit.
So I went to school with Preston's wife, and in first grade, one of the first songs I got to listen to of my own, like I said, the issue I had was "It's My Life" by Bon Jovi. And so
It's my life.
I really don't remember it, but apparently I used to fucking hum and sing that shit in first grade, class all the time. Would drive his wife nuts. But yeah, I do think Bon Jovi was one of those like more popular bands that I think a lot of
It's all the same.
so like I guess to frame it up, like my uncle Gary doesn't like Bon Jovi, Poison, any of those really popular bands, because he was more into the grittier shit like Motley Crue and all that kind of stuff. So I think maybe like some people don't like these butt rock bands that we talk about because of their popularity, and there seems to be some coolness. People seem to think that there's a coolness about only liking these underground bands and stuff.
That
Maybe a lot of people
is cool.
Yeah, maybe a lot of people shit on Bon Jovi and probably overlooked Richie. But I got one last this or that for Tyler here before we close it out. And what I think is interesting about these this or that's is you have to make it personal. And just from this conversation, I thought of a good one, and it is same thing. One discography stays, one's got to go.
I know one band that's going to be in it.
Bullet.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Or Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, shit. Well, that's easy for the three of us. But,
right in my heart, dude.
Think about it for a second before you react.
Look, we had to finish it out with a dagger. All right.
Man, that's a straight dagger to my heart.
Your tears.
Oh.
Seize the day.
Let's go. Jackson's, bro.
man.
Jackson's. Okay. Fuck Schecter's.
Avenged Sevenfold or Bullet?
You only get to listen to one.
For the rest of
Moving
your
forward.
life.
One disappears,
Just
bro.
gone into
Oh,
oblivion.
I mean, I'm not impressed with either of their latest shit.
That's fair.
They both suck.
Hey, but Bullet's newest album's way better than Avenged's newest
I
album.
will give you that for sure. Now, if it was down to new album, this or that, Bullet for sure. But
At least
dude,
one is still metal.
It's Avenged. It's Avenged.
It's not
isn't it?
industrial
I
rock.
got to take Avenged.
Oh,
God.
burst my fucking bubble.
I really had hope for you. I had faith.
Oh,
I thought you would.
Now, this or that is a hot take, bro.
I
Avenged.
thought that you and I were just gonna meet right off into the sunset here in Pride Month.
Just because I always have the option to go back to
On
listen to
Juneteenth.
Avenged with the Rev or with Mike Portnoy, and I'm totally content with either. So,
that's fair.
both of them have only had one lineup change when you think about it.
Avenged Sevenfold's on their third,
Are they
fourth,
only-
fourth drummer.
Okay, I get.
Fourth
I'm not
drummer.
keeping up with them.
We
but-
haven't
Yeah.
kept up with him, yeah.
Yeah, so they had the Rev, who was probably the greatest drummer to ever live. Yeah,
Hot take.
We're trying to
go
go.
We're
I'm
trying
going
to
there,
close it
bro.
out,
And
Are
man.
you really about to go there?
I have to, dude, because the Rev was like 21 when he died, bro, and he fucking achieved
Jesus.
greatness plus some.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was the first person I've ever heard musically put a drum solo into a fucking
So does that
song.
make Randy Rhoads the greatest guitar player of all time because he died at 23 or 24 and he achieved all that?
No.
Okay, I rest my case.
No. But we're talking about drummer for one, and I mean, dude, the Rev. God, he's so
He
good.
invented the fake stick spin too.
God, he's so good.
But man, I would argue Joey Jordison's better.
Oh yeah, Joey Jordison's definitely right up there with him in my book. And the
Tool's drummer's a bad motherfucker.
and the dude from All That
Benjamin.
Remains, the second guy, not the guy that holds his stick like jazz. I can't stand to watch that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Dude, As I Lay Dying's drummer is fucking nuts. Well, he's
Who
not with
did
him
you
anymore.
just say before that?
but Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, Breaking Benjamin's drummer's a bad motherfucker.
Cheville's drummer ain't
too.
no bitch either.
yeah, Breaking Benjamin's another one of those creative simplicity, fucking
Yep.
flawless masterpiece.
No, I think the
Masterpiece.
Rev's definitely top 5 drummer of all time. I'll give you
yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah,
Do I
he
think
was just
he's the
he was just
greatest
so
ever?
young, bro. So
all
we-
these people will go back and be like, oh, Neil Peart,
fuck Neil Peart.
or John Bonham
Neil
or whatever.
Peart did
from-
not one blast beat in his entire career. Trash.
That's metal
He
as
sound
fuck.
like, he sound like Filthy Frank from YouTube. Know your fucking place. Trash. Fucking robots. Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker. Not one blast beat in his life. Let's just people say John Bonham from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Let's say the same thing about
Dude,
him.
but
like,
he was a bad motherfucker though, bro.
Was he, though?
He played some offbeat fucking type shit that was just crazy. I mean, when I go back,
even
and listen
Stairway
to
to
it,
Heaven's offbeat.
Yeah, Stairway to Heaven's played out, but
It's
I
played
mean,
out.
yeah, he was
It's a
sick,
forbidden
though.
riff.
Yeah,
That solo is incredible.
but you got to be
Still
great to
this
write a
day.
forbidden riff. Never forget that.
You do
Yeah.
have to.
Goat
be
is the next forbidden riff.
what?
You
What
think
is?
so?
Oh yeah,
What is?
Goat by
Goat.
Polyphia.
next forbidden riff for
Never
sure.
heard it,
What?
Oh, it's fucking sweet.
bro. I couldn't name you one Polyphia. I avoid them like the plague
Why?
because it's fucking it's. The biggest nerdy dick stroking. I don't know where if you play a guitar without a fucking headstock.
Can't even put words to your hatred.
I've never seen him play a guitar without a headstock, dude. Never, not once. It's always an Ibanez.
Yeah.
Who's the fucking band that they all play fucking guitars without headstocks?
Shit, there's.
There's unprocessed, which they're Polyphia copycats.
There you go. Just
Tim's just a virtuoso, though, bro. He's
I mean,
literal
Plenty
guy.
Elite
plays-
guitarist. I'll give you
Plenty
that.
plays the
guy.
Strandberg, but you would listen to some of Plenty shit.
Our
and be
buddy
like,
Jeremy
whoa.
Priest plays one of them
Yep.
motherfuckers.
Yep.
But shout out his band, Coach Light, my guy.
Hey, I got one more this or that, but it's for Preston only because I fucking researched both so much today. Do you have a this and that? I mean, this might be an obvious one. I don't really know. Do you have a this or that between Periphery and Polaris?
It would be Polaris by far.
We did one. It was
I love Periphery, but it would be Polaris by far.
he would
fucking
never choose
sick.
another band.
Yep.
I wouldn't either. There's
Nobody
you
touches
couldn't.
them to me.
You wouldn't choose Bullet over
No,
Polaris?
no.
Wow.
Nope.
Polaris changed my fucking life.
Yep.
Okay.
Bullet shaped it. Polaris changed it.
Yeah, I gotta listen to more of them. I listened to 2 albums today.
And I wish you could go back a few years ago, like when we fell in love with them, because there was this void for us. There was this void in metalcore where it was like, I need something. I need something. I need
This
something.
is the time when All the Remains fell off a fucking cliff.
Yes.
When Parkway fell off a fucking cliff.
Yep.
There were so
As I Lay
Tim
Dying
Lambesis
obviously
is in
wasn't doing-
prison.
yeah, he was in
So,
prison.
I mean, as I laid, I mean, Woven War, the guys from
Yep.
as which, if you want to go even further back, half of As I Lay Dying was in Unearth, and then As I Lay Dying, Tim goes to prison. They start the band Woven War. So there was this bit which was more of just a metal band. They weren't metalcore by any means. They were just like a hard rock band almost. But there was this big void in metalcore for us, and then out of fucking nowhere,
We found Polaris.
here comes Polaris, and it's just this monster of a band.
Yeah, I heard them before, but I never gave them a real shot. And then I listened to 2 albums today, The Mortal Coil, and what was
And
the other one I
The
said?
Death of Me.
Oh, man.
You need to go back and listen to the Guilt and the Grief EP and Dichotomy, their first album.
Definitely will do that, man. They're fucking
They don't have a bad song.
gnarly.
There's not one.
Not
There's
one.
not
I haven't
one.
heard one, and I listened to 2 albums straight.
Have you heard their new
Dude,
song, Inhumane?
I feel like
Yes,
I can.
heard that today.
I feel like
Bonkers.
I'm in the room with them, and they're like, "Yeah, this isn't good enough. We're not putting it out." I feel like they have 50 other fucking songs, and they're like, "Nope, just not. It's not good enough.
It's not there
It's
yet.
this. It's this. It's this." Like, there's nothing, not one that they've put out that's bad. And I know it's subjective. I know it's based on everybody's opinion, but people need, and maybe it's because of the musician in me, and maybe that's why you.
Now, how long have
appreciate
they
it
been
as well.
around? Long
16.
time?
I mean, I think their first.
So they're
I
a
think
newer
Dichotomy.
band.
They
No,
are
no. I'm
new.
sorry. Dichotomy, I think, was actually like 2013. Let me go. Let me look. Just
That's
to
still
double check.
newer in terms
Newer,
of...
Yeah.
10 years. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Dichotomy was 13.
I mean, I'll
Okay.
tell you this. They're the first, like, really newer band that pulled me the fuck in, bro.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, some songs I even restarted and listened to twice in
Yep.
a row.
There's some shit that they do, man. It's just,
They got that formula.
they do, man. They have this metal core, but somehow, not that it's kind of ironic because they're not that giant right now, but they can pull the masses in some way, somehow.
But then it goes into some pretty ass chorus, like A Day to
Yeah.
Remember or something.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
It's They
yeah.
have that poppier chorus from Jake, the bassist.
and I just
that-
love that, man.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not
Yep.
all about like heavy all the time. Like,
Exactly.
Sometimes,
Yeah, it's the reason I can't get into death metal always.
yeah.
I can't listen to that constantly. So, yep, it would be Polaris by far.
Yeah,
Anything else, guys?
I don't have anything else. I think it's been we've been recording a long fucking time, and it's been kick-ass content
Is this
nonstop.
the longest
from-
episode so far?
Close to
I'm
it,
not.
probably.
We'll have to see. We're over 3 hours, and the longest one I think was with Derek. Though
I really
Derek
didn't
Munson.
realize how much time had passed because I haven't had my phone.
Yeah.
and
It's been chill, bro. It's been a vibe.
It's been
Fun,
awesome.
isn't it?
It's
Told
been
you.
great, man.
When you start going, bro, you just go and go and go, and people will like this episode because we're just talking music topics back and forth. the whole
ADHD,
time. So,
bro.
ADHD, man. Metal ADD, man. So, Tyler, it's been a pleasure having you on, bro. Thank you so much for being such a longtime supporter of the show and repping the shirt and giving us feedback, and even more for coming on and talking about your story and talking about sharing your passion for music with us and with all the listeners. We appreciate the fuck out of you, my guy.
Right on, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have you on again. It won't be. There's a lot. There's a lot more that could be said. So
Yeah.
we like the idea of having recurring guests. So look forward to hopefully having Tyler back on the show again to do this again. It's been a blast. As always, give all of our socials a follow at TSIS Podcast, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you binge your content. Come find us.
OnlyFans, all of that.
If you would love to binge our content all at once and get access to all the bonus content, please hop on a Patreon and look up our Patreon page. The links are in the link tree on all of our socials. $5 a month gets you access to anything and everything Screaming Idiots Show. If you want merch, you want T-shirts, get a hold of us on any of our socials, and we will get you some shirts. Any kind of feedback, like, comment, share, anything you guys have to say to us, good, bad, or indifferent, let us know. We appreciate each and every one of you guys and gals out there. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. Until next time, we are the Screaming Idiots.
Peace, love, dove.
I love it.
That was fun, dude.
Told you, it's fun as hell.